Hello, my name is Joe Trier and welcome back to Rime of the Frost Maiden. Our camera pounds out through the darkness over the sea of moving ice, where titanic icebergs bob in a churning black sea of unknown depth, crashing into one another with destructive results. Over many miles, where we eventually see, floating amid these mountains of ice shrouded in mist, is Auriel's Island, the Frost Maiden's Island. We rise up over the 100-foot cliffs and pan past frozen forests and ice-white drifts where, through the blowing snow, we see a grand assembly of ice sculptures across a snowy field. Closer examination reveals that the sculptures are completely faithful to their subjects: bears, elk, saber-toothed tigers, wolves, yeti, remorases, and white dragons, other creatures of the north too, carved in intricate detail that no mortal hand could create in such wondrous detail. We carry on flying to the center of the island where, rising before us, is a 600-foot tall mountain of glacial ice, its peak carved to resemble a gigantic skull wearing a crown. Weaving up the mountain's southern slope are enormous steps hewn for ice. These steps, which extend from the base of the mountain to the base of the fortress, were clearly made for giants, each one being almost 5 foot high. And there at the very bottom stand our 4 heroes. They have journeyed to Auriel's abode in search of the Codicle of White, a powerful book containing many of Auriel's rituals, and legend has it, it contains a magical spell which could crack open the Reghed Glacier, forming a path to its very depths where an ancient city of Netheril lays buried, within which there may be magics that could destroy Auriel's Rime. Let us zoom in on our characters who wait beneath these mighty steps. Starting off, Owen. Owen, welcome back to the show. Great to see you. Could you tell us a bit about your character?
How's it going, Joe? My character is Xalfiz the Practical. He is a level 8, right? Level 8 artificer. He has a little trusty sidekick who is a mechanical penguin he's made called Lady Penguin. It's the gist of it, really. He's a gnome.
And what is Xalfiz doing as he stands looking up at Auriel's castle? Well,
he doesn't stand. He's sitting on Lady Penguin with a little handlebar coming out of her head because she also works as like a mobility scooter for him. So he's basically just taking it all in. He's all about looking for Shardolin, this magical crystal that he had used to upgrade Lady Penguin, and he'd loads of experiments done with it. So he's on the lookout for that kind of stuff. And I guess an ice maiden?
You know, if you bump into her.
Yeah. Ask for directions, maybe, I guess.
Okay, next up, welcome back to the show, Virginia. It's great to see you again. Can you tell us about your character?
Yeah, thanks for having me back. I am playing Kestra. She is an 8th level warlock, and she is a bounty hunter and is here to help her friends, and is very much looking forward to, but also slightly terrified of what awaits as they go up those steps.
And as Kestra stands at the base of the mountain, what's she doing, or how is she feeling?
I think at this point she's still leafing through that spell book that she found on the body of their friend. So they lied about. Just trying to see if there's anything else in there. These trials do not sound good.
Sure. Well, hopefully we'll find out tonight. And next up, Niall, welcome back to the show. Can you tell us about Gann and your character?
Well, I'm playing Gann, a level 8 druid, Firbolg, and you can see him in the picture in one of those directions. I don't know.
Every week.
Anyway, yeah, he is currently standing at the base of this tower, and he is thinking about consulting with the professor orb that he what is the word attuned to last week, to speak to the person inside of it that seems to have the information that we need right now.
Of course. And last but by no means least, welcome back to Kuran. Can you tell us a bit about Graham?
Graham is a human rogue who is currently questioning his choice in friends as we stand at the base of a tower, possibly going to die. Yeah, this is
You'll be fine.
It's feeling pretty real, let's say.
Okay, so let's start our story as you gaze up over these. I mean, they are almost 5 foot high, and this part of the island is the coldest part you've come to. Frost is literally steaming off the steps, and your feet, containing the sort of tiny bits of moisture from your body, mean that every time you lift them, there's a crackle of ice. And if you stay for too long, you feel yourself slightly rooted down.
Can I take out the professor orb? Do I have to talk out loud to it, or can I just talk mentally to it?
You
That
absolutely
doesn't
can
sound
talk out
suspicious.
loud. If you talk mentally, it replies mentally. If you talk out loud, it replies so everyone else can hear it.
We say
Okay.
telepathically, as opposed to just ranting and raving at this orb.
I'd like to ask out loud. What can you tell us about these trials that we have to do?
Well, I mean, as I said before, we don't know a great deal of detail. The druid that my previous companions,
He sounds quite disgusted as he talks about them.
they tortured to death, was rather circumspect about them. We do know that each trial represents one part of Oriel's portfolio: endurance, cruelty, isolation, and preservation. Those things that she holds most dear are the source of her godly power and might. But the details, all we know is they're very, very deadly. And not all, in fact, from our understanding, very few return after attempting these trials.
Do we have to do all of the trials, or is it we would take them individually? Do we know anything like that?
She implied that you need to take all 4, but she didn't say you needed to pass all 4. We were kind of hoping for a bit of a majority, 50%, that kind of thing. Would be kind of clerics or chosen of Oriel of maybe the sort of preservation and endurance, and maybe leave the cruelty aside, although my previous owners were quite into the cruelty.
Yes. So you said. Can you tell us anything else about this keep? Anything we need to be careful of? Anything we need to know about before we go in?
It should be fascinating. Part of the ancient giant kingdom from, well, even before the kingdoms of Netheril. It'll be large, escaped to giants. Hopefully the giants themselves have departed, or you'll be fighting a host of frost giants, each one 15 foot tall and as strong as, well, a dragon, as it were. But my understanding is that trials are held in what was the dungeon, or the holy site, the giants deep within the bowels of the castle. So be searching for, a way deep down.
Okay. Thank you. And I'll put the orb back in my pocket. I'll look around to the group. So, should we get going?
If we're choosing trials, I think I'd like preservation. Just if there's options and just dibs.
What do we got again? We got preservation, cruelty.
Yeah.
What were the other two, Joe?
Endurance and perseverance.
Isolation is the last one.
Oh, sorry.
I think we should draw straws, to be honest with you.
So
This
hold on. Did Joel? You said preservation and perseverance. Is it one of those?
So
then?
it's preservation, isolation, cruelty, and endurance.
Okay.
I think we should decide that when we get there, because we might not have a choice and we might have to do all of them.
Fine. I just wanted to, I guess.
You wanted the easy path.
Who said it was easy?
Okay, Xalfiz.
I mean, if we're not going to draw straws here, I don't think I have any straw anyway. We'd get.
Sorry, that
You shouldn't
was
have
so
laughed.
stupid. It was so dumb. I'm sorry.
I'll
You
have.
got me.
I think I'll take cruelty.
It seems most suited for you.
The Professor Orb interrupts. He goes,
Sorry, there may be a misunderstanding. If you want to pass, we suspect at least 50% for all of you. Otherwise, you'll each only have one of the portfolios, and then none of you could go through the door to where the codicil is kept.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, that's a lot clearer, to be fair. Not a group effort.
No, it is a group effort. That's what I'm saying. You kind of all need to do all of them. Or unless, I mean, it depends. Maybe just one of you wishes to whisk yourself on all the trials, and the others could just sort of hang out.
I guess we're going to find. Is there stairs? An elevator?
Yeah, there's the stairs. There's the 5-foot stairs going up to the.
Yeah.
Going up to the.
How are they separated out? Like, do we just have to go up and then see what's there?
So you're standing at the base of a mountain. At the
Yes.
literal peak of the mountain, 100 foot above you, is this fortress, which is in the shape of a skull. Between you and that is a literally giant set of staircase. Each step is 5 foot high. So it's going to be a difficult journey. It's probably what stands for mid-afternoon, although that's very dusky, obviously, under the Rime.
Well, the only way we're going to find out what these trials are and how we do them is, I guess, following these steps. If we stand here too long, we're going to freeze on the spot.
Well, this is being said, I'm already climbing. I'm like 3-4 steps up. I'm like,
Yeah, I'm.
bring on the cruelty.
Xalfiz, do you need some help getting up these stairs?
I need a lot of help. This is
Yeah,
like
I'll
this is almost double overhead. Like
Yeah, I'll basically pick up Xalfiz and like I guess put him on a shoulder or something like that. Yeah, both of the legs over my shoulders.
I'm like a kid and go around dissing him with his dad on his dad's shoulder.
Yeah,
You just chuck him up with
yeah.
Mechanically, you're going to have no problem getting up these steps. but
Just
it will be long
toss
and
me.
hard.
Don't tell the dwarf. Don't tell the elf.
Don't tell the elf. What?
So, probably around 2 hours later, you arrive at the base of the castle itself. This enormous skull with this crown-shaped spires on top, where, if rumor has it, a Oriel's rock, the mighty bird that carries her across the dale when she casts her spell, sleeps during the day. The steps end in front of a double door made from slabs of ice with dragon skulls and dragon bones, you believe, buried in them. Carved into the lintel is a single word in Dwarvish script.
Everyone jumps. I speak Dwarvish. There we go. I was quickly got to my player sheet.
Okay,
Yeah, I speak Dwarvish as well.
Okay, for those that read Dwarvish, you sound out the letters because it's not a word itself, but the name of this place is Grim Skull.
It says here the name is Grinskull.
Very welcoming.
It's very extra for a place that's hidden. A lot of effort gone in for not much payoff. I mean, the whole skull.
I wonder who designed this.
motif.
They took
I
the
feel
time
like-
to set up the layout.
I mean, if you become a god that does this and then build yourself an ice sculpture garden in exquisite detail, you're probably enough of a narcissist to put the name of your keep on the doors, even if no one's going to see it, because you're going to murder them before they get there.
Would anyone like to give me a history check?
That is a fair point.
Yes, I would.
yes.
Certainly
Anyone
would.
trained in history?
I'm not.
You'd have to be proficient in it. It can't.
I
just
have a
go
+8,
random
so I
roll.
think I'll be okay. I got 24.
I have a +2.
So, well, 24 covers
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
So
okay.
the ancient kingdom of Astoria, the giant kingdom, which took place over 2,000 years ago, the giants battled against the dragons, and the dragon bones that are buried in the wall are actual real dragon bones, and you think they might be young white dragons, which are huge beasts themselves. Sorry, large beasts in a D&D term themselves, but they're probably the victims of the dragon's war against the giants.
When we
And this was built by the giants themselves.
when we say skull shaped, do we mean
This-
like humanoid skull, not dragon skull? right?
Yes.
Okay.
It's behind me.
No. Yeah.
Cool. I was going to relay that in character, but yeah.
Always
you'll
with the
learn it. It's
appropriate
not gonna be relayed
background,
again.
Niall.
I try to
and the
be
door-
relevant.
The door towers above you, probably 18 foot.
Is
I
there
thought
a
it was going to be like something like speak friend and enter.
Oh.
Is there any other entrance that we can see, or is it just this one way in?
The cliffs themselves are sheer, but looking up, you do wonder if the sort of carvings that represent the eye sockets and that of the nose, maybe if you clambered your way up, there might be an entrance to the sort of top or higher floors of this place.
What do we know what the door is made of? To look at?
There's slabs of ice.
Just giant slabs of ice.
I'd like to lean over to Graham. Graham, do you think you could take a look up there and see if there's another way in?
I use a second story work in my earring, I suppose, to try and climb all the way up and take a look in.
So you sort of clamber your way up, and you probably get about halfway towards where these sockets are, these depressions that just hide in darkness. And I'd like you to give me a perception roll.
Oh no. Did I just get Graham killed?
Oh no, you have done this. The worst part is I have no modifier on this, so what you see is what you get. 8.
There's something up there, like a chittering, muttering sound from the nearest eye socket, but you can't determine exactly how many they are, how loud it is, or what beast or being is like.
Can I tell which eye socket it's coming from?
The one directly above you. So I guess if you're looking at the picture, I guess you're climbing to its right.
Okay. So can I start climbing towards the left side in an attempt to stealth myself while I look through that eye socket?
Right, he said the magic word.
Okay, give me that stealth roll.
In an attempt to, I get plus 10 on that. So.
I didn't use passive
The one
trace.
No, you didn't. Which would mean it means an automatic
Plus 20.
Oh my god! I rolled in that one, so I got 11.
Oh my god!
So because you're using your ring, which allows you to spider climb. So your foot kind of slabs onto one of these bits of ice, and it just peels off. And although you're able to carry on climbing, it tears away with a sort of creaking, cracking sound, and then drops the sort of 3 or 4 stories to the ground below and shatters loudly, and the chittering above stops. What do you wish?
I'm going to start climbing down quite quickly, and as a result, I'm like, there was a sound and it has stopped. Gone, Xalfiz. Everybody, we get and I'm just climbing down. Incoming.
I mean, I'm pretty sure I could open the door if we want to open the door. I could just cast shatter on it. If we're not worried about sound anymore.
Is aggressive the
But we want to shut the doors behind us, though, so whatever's chittering doesn't follow us in.
Following us is not the issue right now. Attacking us is.
Can I just try to push the door open normally, see if they actually
if it's
open?
open.
Yeah, Kestra's going to be going for that too. Like,
It's like, you know, in movies when like they kick the door and it's like it was unlocked.
So what's
Come
your
on, that's
Also,
20.
just to bring it up again, Virginia, your character is called Kestra, right?
Kestra, yeah.
Yes, right. There we go. Remember that.
My strength is +1.
No, but what's the actual strength? So 12.
Yes, 12.
Yeah, so you heave against the door, and despite your bulk, it doesn't seem to move.
Xalfiz helps.
Can I help out?
Does that
I
work?
have a strength of 14.
Yeah, can everyone help?
I have
Just like-
an 8, so my feet spin in place.
So with your combined strength, the door gives, but then stops. What I need is a combined strength roll. So I'd like everyone to roll me strength, and you need more passes on this skill check than fails.
Oh god, I got
I'm
a 6.
sprinting down the side of the face at this point.
Is this just straight strength?
Just straight strength. If you've got a modifier, obviously use your modifier. It's not a saving throw.
There we go. That's
Not
what I'm talking
a
about.
dirty 20.
Nice. And Xalfiz?
Xalfiz got a 10, but realized if he jumps on Lady Penguin, he can just ram it with her, which will be stronger. And use a flash of genius to get to 15? Because I assume 10 isn't a pass, right?
No, but the flash of genius. So basically, you're kind of heaving on it, and it's kind of stirring. You can feel it creaking, and it's icy, kind of against this icy floor. And then Lady Pen crashes into all of you, and you kind of fall forward, and the door slams open. A huge echoing sound reverberates around you. This sort of sonorous, unnatural noise, and then you are greeted with a wave of fog 2 foot high flowing out around you and over you because you're all lying on the ground, and for a moment you disappear and you struggle to catch your breath. It's that cold. You push yourselves up and you stare into the darkness of Grimskull Castle.
Can I close the door behind us?
Are you gonna wait for Graham? Or...
Yeah. I didn't know he wasn't with us.
Okay, the door closes much easier now that you've kind of moved the ice that had gathered around it. But it still takes at least the 3 of you to do it. And it slams again with this sort of sonorous reverberations. And then you are left in complete darkness, absolute pitch black. You are freezing from the waist down, or from Xalfiz. I mean, it's this fog is literally 2 foot high, so almost up to your neck, I'd imagine. But unless
any mostly Lady Penguin getting the brunt of it. I've got dark vision.
Kestra's like, this is the worst. I'd like to take a torch out and light it.
I'll take out my my sword, and it'll actually illuminate. It acts as a torch.
Nice. That's cool.
Nice. So the blue fire along Graham's sword, along with the flickering flame from Gonn's huge torch, because it would be almost giant-sized yourself, because you're almost 7 foot tall, illuminates an enormous corridor, 15 foot high, 20 foot wide, and leading off into the darkness. Strange swirling murals cover the corridors, cover the corridor walls, and you can see numerous doors leading off to the left, right, and in the distance, the corridor turns at a fork. This place is enormous and certainly designed for the giants that once lived here.
So, Xalfiz would have seen Dwarvish. The name was written in Dwarvish, right? Grimskull, right?
Mm.
So he knows there's a chance, like, dwarves are tricky fellas, that there might be secret passageways and stuff, so he will be on the lookout for that and potentially traps, I guess, as well.
Well, you passed your history check, don't you? So
yes.
The giants actually use Dwarvish script.
Okay. Less tricky, those giants.
So they speak giant, but they use Dwarvish script, is it?
Yeah.
Cool.
There is no giant script, is there?
I'm assuming not.
Does that mean that they were originally taught by dwarves?
Well, I can speak giant. Would I know if there's giant script or not?
My realms knowledge runs out here. Maybe chat.
I was making a complete guessing and Joe notes. I would have sounded super smart by guessing.
I thought you were being coy there for a minute. I didn't know you didn't know.
I was like, I don't know. Maybe we'll play Storm King Splendor one time and we'll find out.
I'll take out the orb and just like to the rest of them. I know we've already made a bunch of noise, but to the rest of them, I'm just gonna maybe we should try to be quiet after that entrance. And I'll like to telepathically, that's not mentally, telepathically, like to ask orb, do you know what direction should we be going
in? Well, down if you can. Unfortunately, the giants weren't really my expertise, as it were. Not what I studied. So, sorry.
Do you know anything about this castle?
Well, I mean, looking at those flowing scripts, I do know that they're royal scripts. This place was maybe a fiefdom. I don't know what the giants used to kind of organize their hierarchy, but this was an important place where the king or queen or someone of royal lineage would have made home.
Thank you. I'll put the orb away again. Let's try to find a way down, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Can we tell? Go on.
So I was gonna say, you said that there are doors on this corridor. Do any of those look disturbed, like they've been pushed ajar or left ajar?
Give me an investigation roll.
Can I assist instead of investigation?
Yeah, if you want to roll with advantage if you're working together.
Yeah, I've got +8.
You can roll if you like. I've got +5.
Okay. So advantage just means they're rolling twice, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, we're taking the best one. So that's a dirty 20.
That's absolutely fine. So you initially don't notice anything. You kind of push open the nearest door, which does move much easier, and you look upon what seems to be an ancient guard room with immense pikes, each one 12 foot long and tipped with rusty, you think iron, but then you realize that the sheen of the metal is wrong, but it has oxidized in a way. But as you're looking around, you do notice footprints, those of some human size or humanoid, but also of animal. Initially you think this must be a crag cat, but it's slightly too large. But interesting, leading further into the complex.
Here's where I wish I knew more monsters in D&D.
So
Crag cat can be from a house cat to a giant lion, for all I know.
They're unique to Icewind Dale, and they're deadly.
Yeah.
So they're, imagine like a very large tiger, but with ice white fur. They tend to hunt. They're stealthy hunters and are extremely dangerous, even to heroes such as yourselves.
Oh, I'm going to let Kestra take the lead on this one. So.
You realize I am a bounty hunter, not an animal hunter, right?
Yes. But you've got much more experience with this sort of thing than I do, right?
Xalfiz kicks Graham. Just put a bounty on the tiger.
Yeah, we put a bounty on the tiger, Kestra.
I take half of my payment up front. She just gives me a really sassy look.
And I just pull my pockets inside out. There's nothing there. I'm like, fair enough. Right.
Okay, she will. I don't know, the idea of a giant cat possibly stalking them from the shadows now. I think she'll summon her packed weapon.
What does that look like?
It's a big old mace.
So how does the summoning work? I mean, I've played, is it like Morrowind, where you could use like Daedric weapons? But how does it look for Kestra?
I think for her, she kind of like, it almost looks like she reaches into the pocket of her overcoat, and as she pulls it out, there is like the flourish of red light as this kind of slightly reddish, almost rusty looking, oxidized mace just appears out of the pocket.
Oh, Graham takes a step back. He's like, Kestra, it was only a joke, okay? I don't need the...
Oh, this isn't for you. This is for the cat that might be stalking us from the shadows.
So you do accept bounties as that upfront payment.
I mean, this is more like me not having my throat ripped out.
Fair enough.
Well, any of you having your throat ripped out, because I quite like the lot of you if you haven't noticed.
I would like to let me lead the way. I can and I transform into a saber-tooth tiger, and I've got keen smell, so I can have advantages on any smell perception checks. I would like to just smell around to see if I can sense anything nearby.
How many shape changes do you get a day? Because you've used one when you flew everyone up to the pier. So this is your second?
This is my second, and that is my last one.
So give me a perception check.
All right. Advantage on perception checks that rely on smell. So +3.
Always get worried when Joe's counting spells.
+5.
He's like, I don't want you turning into no mammoth later on. What is it?
That is a 10 + 5 and a 12 + 5, 17.
Okay, so the scent is old. No one has been here for a week, but there's a clear trail moving down to the end of the corridor and through a half-open door leading into blackness.
I guess I'll just start stalking along slowly towards
are you all
that.
going together, or are you letting Gann go on his own?
No, well, I'll stick close.
Yeah, I'll follow behind, because might be worth those of us that can see into the room before we flood it with torchlight. Maybe taking a look in case there is something waiting in there.
Yeah, and
well, Gonn's torch will have gone now, so it'll only be the kind of like fiery white blue light from Graham's sword. But what I'd like you to do then is, assuming you are moving stealthily, can you give me a group stealth roll?
Sure can.
Yeah, boy, howdy. That passed out trace was
That-
real good before he
So
became a
that all of
tiger.
us.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah, so the way we
Fuck
do this
me.
is you all roll, and the idea is you need more passes than fails. The idea is that anyone who passes is helping the people who fail be quiet.
Okay.
I got a. What the?
Got a 26.
I got a 12.
I tried to roll and it just didn't do anything.
I think mine's doing the same.
Oh, there it is.
I got
Oh,
18.
There's your.
Okay.
Nice.
And I got, with a +2, 9.
Okay, so one failure. Graham, you're the highest roll. What did you do to stop Xalfiz from breaking your stealth?
I just sheathed my weapon. I engulfed us in
Left him in
darkness.
complete
Yeah.
darkness.
Xalfiz was basically pottering along, building up some speed and making noise, and just bumped into the back of someone. Even though he's got dark vision.
It's just like, whoop, and then suddenly there's nothing. That's it.
Okay, so you weave your way through a network of rooms and corridors, which you couldn't have possibly have navigated with such speed if you weren't following a trail. You could imagine looking up at the mighty rooms filled with discarded and broken furniture and ancient weapons that you could have wandered for days and still not found your way. But you eventually stop outside a door. From beyond you can hear deep breathing, something so loud that it could only come from a giant. And it sounds deep, but something wrong with it, like there's a gurgle or a stutter deep within this thing's lungs.
Yeah.
Xalfiz takes out his face mask. We're topical, guys. There you go.
Maybe whatever is on the other side of this door was injured by whoever last came through here.
Yes, but
Let's not find out.
Along the way, did we see any doors that looked like they might did we see any other doors open or any pathways leading down?
and it says
You've
stairwell.
gone. You've
Yes.
followed. You've been walking for almost an hour, and you've been in and out of rooms and corridors this way and that. If there was a stairway, you didn't see it from where you're going, and the trail that you're following definitely goes through this door.
Do I smell any blood?
No, but you do smell an overpowering stench of giant.
I don't have any dark vision or anything, and I'm literally completely in the dark now. I don't know what's going on. I'm just holding on to a tuft of fur from Gann, and he can't speak because he's a fucking cat.
Yeah, I'm like,
I'm just
"Meow."
like, he's going meow, and I'm like, Kestra, what's going on?
Something really big the other side of this door. Really big. Like that's the sound of something breathing. I hate to break it to you.
I'd like
I heard a bit
to
of a
use my
gurgle.
claw and spell out giant on the ground in the ice.
I
Kestra
can't
looks
see
down.
that because it's dark.
I have some good news, Graham. I know what it is.
What is it? What is it?
That's the bad news. A giant, apparently.
Oh well, that's not good.
I mean, guys, we don't have to go in.
So Joe, I've got dark vision. This room is the only option to go, you're saying? We've been everywhere else, is it?
So you've not been everyone else. You've followed a maze. Well, you've basically followed a trail through a maze.
But without
so this
Doubling
place is
back, it's the
north.
only direction we can go, is it?
You could possibly try and leave the trail and find another way round the same place, but obviously you don't know where the trail's going beyond this
Can I
door.
try and sneak up and see if I can actually get a look at this giant, or is everything in darkness?
This whole place is pitch black.
Okay, I can't
Which
see nothing.
case,
then.
can I try and sneak up and take a look at the giant?
Sure. So you stand before, and it's all the doors in here are made of wood, not ice, and they're much easier to open than the front door. So with a bit of effort, you could, even on your own, probably heave it open. Although you might be able to do it more subtly if you'd worked as a team. But yeah, you certainly can peer around. Could you give me a stealth roll?
12.
Door does creak. There's sort of a scratching sound as the ice shaved away as the door scrapes across it. And you kind of sort of breathe back for a moment, but the giant's breath, or whatever it is, still stays steady. And you peek round to see it. An enormous beast, 20 foot tall, the biggest ice giant you have ever seen, but ancient. Ice giants kind of have bluey white skin, and its skin is grey and wrinkled. Its beard reaches almost to the ground and is braided intricately, wrapped up with gold and silver. It wears a battered and torn breastplate of shining mail, and at its side, and it's kind of like on an enormous throne, it's leaning over with its head down, and at its side, its hand still holding its hilt, is a battle axe, but one that you've never couldn't imagine one of this size. It's over 10 foot tall and is burning with a white light similar to Graham's sword. With every breath, it kind of chokes a little as it breathes in. The room itself is a corridor, so it continues off left into darkness. To your right is the giant, and opposite is another door, but closed.
I think Kestra takes a moment to kind of study the room and see those exits, and then we'll creep back. It's an ice giant sitting in a throne with a 10-foot tall battle axe, but there's a door the other side of the other side.
Is it like asleep or dead or injured or what?
I should probably say a throne-like chair. It's not ornamented.
Throne-like
it's
chair.
Large, a chair with a like armrests and a large back, but not like a royal throne.
It's definitely alive, but it's kind of hunched over, so I can't really tell.
Try and kill it.
We could just make a really stealthy run for it.
At that, I'd like to...
Like really stealthy. Emphasis on the rolling for stealth. Is this the...
Yeah, I would like to change out of my B shape and... Yes, Owen, I'll cast Pass Without a Trace on it if we want to try to stealth by.
I potentially a way of... It might be all this stealthy, but I could try restraining him. This is metaing now, but I do have web. It's a deck save.
We could try and run for it, and
The
hopefully
voice
at
went
least
all
we
weird,
get.
Xalfiz. I don't know what's going on.
As the guy
What
who's
is
normally
web?
like anti-meta.
I mean, I've used it many times.
As it were.
Has it ever been successful on something so large?
The shark? Does anyone remember the shark? It was literally hours ago.
Oh, I thought that was the octopus that did all of the.
I never
Felt
get
like
the recognition I deserve.
Felt like a week ago. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm a hero to the people of Bryn Shender. Why do you people not appreciate me?
I know you're a hero, buddy, and I pat him on the shoulder. And like as I pat him on the shoulder, it's probably like,
Ow!
okay, so
Hero shoulders.
I mean, worst comes to worst, we run for it, and it wakes up, and at least, hopefully, we're about halfway across the room, so at least we can fight our way to the door.
Worst case scenario, I think Xalfiz can just cast grease, and then when he's slipping on the spot, we can just keep walking. That's how this works, right?
But not the giant shark web. Okay, yeah, I also agree.
Well, but in tandem together, they make the perfect plan.
They feel countering. Yeah, I mean, okay. The physics work against each other, but
so
Joe, how wide is this corridor? From
Same
wall
as
to
what
wall?
you've seen throughout everywhere, so about 20 foot wide.
Oh, I mean,
The-
worst comes to worst, I can throw up a ball of fire, and hopefully
You
he won't be
also-
able to follow us past that.
Unusually, the giant itself is probably have to, his own cursor would have to hunch. He's that tall.
I think we
Even more
should.
horrifying.
I think we should sneak or run for it.
Set him on fire. What?
Light him.
Make a stealthy run, and we
Then
can.
set him on fire? I don't understand how this
I
plan
mean,
works.
if he wakes up, yeah.
I'm not sure if fighting is our best option here.
No, I mean,
Okay.
you've cast Pass Without a Trace now, right? That has happened.
Not yet. I will cast
While
it.
we're
If we,
fingering.
I will cast it if we are going to stealth. That's what I'm
And
waiting
the
for.
spell
consensus
runs
on.
out.
I can't see because it's dark, so I'm padding around and I just grab some snow or some like shavings
Oh,
of ice from the
shoot.
ground and I put it in your hand and I'm like, do it. You know what you must do.
Kestra, Xalfiz, you're going to have to lead the way because me and Graham can't see anything.
Because I'm a hero.
I could take my sword out again, right? Or is there multiple?
Can I pick up Xalfiz and like he can like ratatouille? So like he's sitting on my head and he's like pulling my hair in the direction I need to go.
In which case, Kestra will take her tail and just, without warning Graham at all, just kind of like wrap it around the lower bit of his arm as like a, you know, like when someone, like as you're leading a child or something. She's basically
What is this?
doing that. Oh, that's me. I'm sorry.
I will cast Pass Without a Trace, so we all get +1 to our stealth.
Has it been an hour since I used the sword to brighten it up? Because I can only do it once an hour, putting it out and reigniting it.
You've been exploring the complex for an hour, so you could light it again.
But do we want to have light if we're going into a room? Because
I don't know if that thing's asleep or not.
For Gann, I'll take out my my artificer infused 10-foot pole, and he can hold one end of it, and I'll hold the other. And
I thought you were going to say like he could like close his eyes.
Here, hold my pole. Is that what
I want the ratatouille one. I want you to be on my shoulders whispering directions.
I don't want to rely on your stealth. I want to be 10 feet away from you when you wake this thing up.
Okay.
Although
is there light in that chamber?
You want Gann to be between
Xalfiz.
Xalfiz's legs while I hold his pole? Is that what's?
Oh, but there will be
light off its club.
Off the axe, there will be a soft glow. So when you kind of peek through the door, it's almost pitch black, but the unactivated axe does burn with this soft white fiery light, which is enough to illuminate without tripping over anything. It shows everything in really harsh shadows. So it's like chiaroscuro, like it's whites and blacks, nothing in between. So it's still hard to see, and you could trip over something easily. So it's not totally illuminated, but yeah, you definitely can make your way without having to resort to Disney style solutions, unless you want to.
Let's just go. There's enough light in there for us to be careful going through.
Can you put me down, please?
Oh.
Are we gonna roll? Are we rolling stealth again?
Yeah, I think that's probably the next thing. It's up to Joe.
So we'll do it as a group check as well. So if everyone rolls stealth, you need to have more passes than fails.
Okay.
Karen, you have +20.
Yeah, I do.
What does pass without the trace?
So I got 37.
+10. You get +10 to your stealth checks.
An additional +10, yeah.
I rolled a 31.
Oh my
I rolled a 19.
I rolled a natural 1, but I got 16.
Why?
So we got 37, 31, 29, and 16.
Like, so what does Kestra do to sort of mess this up, and then how does everyone else fix it as you're tiptoeing across the room?
I like to think it's a thing of like she recognizes that as we're coming into the room that like Xalfiz is no longer like on the shoulders and everyone's walking normally. So she lets go of Graham, but kind of forgets that she's supposed to be really quiet, and her tail, which is quite long and quite heavy, just goes thwack against the floor as she kind of unravels. And just like not really thinking about it. And I just imagine like the echo of that in the room. Just being like,
so as the tail descends, what does one of you, and again, Graham, you rolled the highest, what do you do to prevent this noise from happening? Because it's a group stealth roll.
Shove Xalfiz in the way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming this has already happened now, right? So
No,
tail.
That's what would have happened, but because
right.
you passed as a group, you managed to prevent this from happening.
I'd say I slip my foot underneath it and receive full tail slack into the foot. I'm like, oh.
I'll lick your feet.
So where are you going? Are you going to the door opposite, or are you heading to the left down this corridor? Because obviously now you're not in beast form, you don't detect the trail anymore.
Door
opposite.
Door.
There's always
Okay.
problems behind doors.
With those incredible rolls, obviously we've got a 37. You manage to open the door silently. You move softer than ghosts, and the giant snoring is undisturbed, and you leave it behind you as you enter the next room, which appears to be a banquet hall. It's enormous though. In the middle of the immense hall stands a 30-foot long, 10-foot wide, 10-foot high dining table, but it's broken and rotting, and the chairs that once served it themselves are mostly just firewood. You see on the walls there is on the wall in front there is an enormous fireplace, and above it is what must be a hollowed out mammoth tusk that creates an enormous, I guess, like a horn. To your right is an ascending staircase disappearing up into darkness, but to your left, the fog that covers the floor 2 foot high is flowing down a staircase, rolling down it again into darkness.
And I'm assuming once again that it's only Kestra and Xalfiz that can see, because the room is probably in darkness.
Well, no, Kuran's blade's back lit up now, isn't it?
I haven't taken it out, but I can.
Oh, sorry. I thought you took it out. The doors always pay off, lads, I'm telling you.
So I'm going to ask Kestra, can I take my sword out, or would that be a bad idea right now?
You know, I don't think there's anything in this room apart from the exits. And she looks at Xalfiz with a thing of like, have you spotted anything I haven't? Like,
she's right. It's junk. It's junk as far as the eye can see.
All right. So I take the sword out, and we can all illuminate up the area. Take a look. At least
I think thought, though.
Yeah.
What if that was one of the trials?
What one could it have been? I can't see it being preservation, cruelty, endurance, isolation.
Possibly isolation. That thing was too big for where it was. And old. Really old. And alone.
So maybe we didn't pass. Maybe we need to make friends with it. Are we going back and making friends with it?
I think we should continue on down.
I don't think we should make friends with it, Xalfiz.
Hold on. I'll take out the orb.
We shouldn't make friends with it?
No. Yeah. Telepathically, would that have been one of the trials, or was that just something guarding this place?
Steve, the security guard.
How on earth should I know? I don't know. I guess it could be isolation. He was pretty isolated. He's on his own, but then so's that chair. I mean, it's the only chair standing in the room.
I just put the orb back in my pocket. This guy sucks. Orb was no help. Maybe we should just continue on downstairs.
Yeah, I mean, I did say...
Because I heard originally, or was it when he went back talking telepathically, that the trials were in the dungeon? Initially, we heard that, all of us, didn't we?
Yeah, we know that we have to go down.
Yeah, I mean, the trials are most likely in a dungeon, so...
I think
got the
maybe...
wrong voice completely, too.
Can I go and have a look at that mammoth task just before we leave this room? I just want to do a cursory, make sure we're not overlooking something, in case hidden behind it is here are the keys to all the trials kind of thing. you never know.
You're not doing the don't touch wet paint thing, are you?
So it's hanging on the wall, probably about 15 foot above you. So you're going to need to give me an acrobatics or an athletics if you want to get up to it.
I can attempt an acrobatics roll. Nope, that's an 8.
So you kind of try and leap up to try and grab the lintel of the fireplace, and your fingers just scrape on it, but it's icy, and you just feel yourself falling backwards and landing at the heap in this fireplace. You're kind of greeted with this kind of whoosh of cold air, where from somewhere high above you, the storms that rage above the island below, this frigid coldness down towards you, but you haven't managed to climb up high enough to get anywhere near the horn.
Does it look like, just from down here, is there anything carved on it, or is it just straight up plain old mammoth
absolutely
task?
It's covered in dwarven runes.
Hey Xalfiz, this stuff's got writing on it.
Gonna potter over on the back of Lady Penguin and look up, and because I can't really see very well in the dark, I'm going to hit a button on the side of her head, and her lights are going to light up like headlights to see if I can see better.
Okay, give me a perception roll.
Cool. Let me find out where my perception is. With a +4. Holy crap. I have a lot of skills. I don't use enough. Roll, please. Roll 20. 16 total.
Okay, so although it is covered with runes, you think most of these are kind of ornate traditional runes, and they don't spell out anything that makes any sense to you. There's more something that represents the clan, something that represents the owner of this, and then you kind of look around, there's multiple owners. You think there's references to giant gods, and there's references to feasting and to a warm hearth. But as you're looking up at it and kind of just concentrating on reading the runes, you hear a whisper of song, a thread of music, a mournful tune, not song, but some sort of instrument, a sorrowful kind of dirge coming from below.
Oh, not coming from the horn.
No. This is coming up from the stairs to your left. And can you give me either a history or a survival roll?
I can. Probably going to be history, so that's +8. What's my survival? Yes, it is going to be history. With a +8. It's thinking 20 total.
Wow. Okay, so the Reghed tribes of the barbarian Reghed tribes of 10 towns have these instruments, a bit like a lyre, sort of fashioned from bones, and it's a very strange way of doing it, but it creates this mournful sound, one that can strike terror into members of the 10 towns, because it often it can be played as a battle, but it could also be played as it is now, to regale ancient stories of their tribes. And it's one of these stories that's passed down from tribe to tribe to tribe. And you think that's what you're hearing.
So this is like sentimental tat. It's just religious significance and the historical significance, but it's just a horn. That's probably some barbarians making it. That's a song of their. Who do you think's making that noise? I'm very scared.
The gist of what Xalfiz says.
Do we still want to follow into the creepy music? Because there is another staircase.
I think I'm voting staircase.
What? That one goes up. Do we go up or down?
I
We have to go down, don't we?
Down.
The orc said down, right?
Yes.
I mean,
Correct.
we beat these barbarians.
These barbarians were the guys who played in Goat Ball, right?
Well, they might not be
No.
these ones.
So the Reghed barbarians live on the tundra. They're people you play Goat Ball against, so the Goliaths who
sorry.
live up in the
Oh.
mountains.
And the Regheads are also giants?
No, so they're predominantly human, actual barbarians. So
Okay.
they're nomads who chase the reindeer herds across the tundra. And occasionally, when food is scarce, will gather and attack the various towns of 10 towns.
I mean, in the grand scheme of things, the redheads are only humans, and if nothing else, we've proved we can take much worse than humans. No, just
So
me.
what? Wait.
Am I being cynical?
I'm okay with that. I mean, we might be able to just sneak by anyway. Was the sound coming from downstairs? Sorry.
Or we could make
Yeah.
friends.
Okay. Or we could try making friends. They
I don't know
who we are.
exactly what Xalfiz wants to make friends with things. It's a new development in the character.
Well, we could try that. They have no reason to be aggressive towards us. They don't know. I mean,
And
we've
it's
only
very
got.
sad.
I mean, if they're here, they're probably doing the same thing we are, right? Or
They
they're
could be.
stuck.
They could be working with the Frost Maiden.
Stuck.
Yeah, no, I would imagine that they're working with the Frost
Maiden.
Maiden. Yeah.
Made friends with people working for the Frost Maiden. I mean, we're here to do her trials, right? They like that.
True. They might be able to point us in the right direction.
I'm sure if they are amenable to talking, we can talk them round.
Maybe if we sneak down, if there's not too many of them, we can approach them and ask for help. Otherwise, we can try to sneak by.
I mean, it sounds like a plan. Before I was an artificer, I was a diplomat. It was Xalfiz a diplomat, believe it or not.
Kestra just looks at him.
Yeah, Gann's shaking his head. Graham,
Yeah. I think we need to head down.
I
okay.
mean, we might end up with a third tour guide.
No one's ever gonna beat Angernuck. Was it Anger Duke? Anger Duke.
Anchor Duke.
Okay.
Well, you know,
What about-
so far we've had a flat rock, a creepy ice garden. Who knows what these people could show us?
I mean, the method was pretty nice. It felt mean stabbing him.
There is a third option. We can go back and set the giant on fire. I'm not
We
sure what this
definitely
really
were looking at
accomplishes.
fire.
You do
But-
know that just being cruel doesn't automatically mean you pass the cruelty trial. I don't think that's
Oh
how
yeah,
it
yeah.
works.
Trials. Forgot about that.
Kestra swings the mace onto her shoulder and starts making towards the stairs.
Okay.
Okay, so these stairs are as high as the ones you clambered up to get to this castle, but these ones are slick with ice. So for this one, I need dexterity acrobatics from all of you individually as you make your way
Except Kuran,
down.
surely, right?
Yeah, he can just walk. Yeah, Graham can just walk down.
Graham,
with
sorry.
his
Dexterity. Did you say
I
regular
would've done
dexterity
so well
or
on this one too, eh?
dexterity
Oh,
acrobatics.
sorry.
you know that.
I thought you were really happy it was
Dexterity.
used right.
9.
Yeah, I'm
Could
happy
I-
he's got it. Definitely.
could I use medicine instead?
No, and as you're contemplating how you could use
No,
meds,
I'm rolling.
Kestra's feet disappear out from underneath her, and she begins to slide
I
up
got a-
into the darkness with a
I got a
scream.
9 plus 1. I got a 10.
And
And this is like a YouTube video where you reach for her and
Oh my
step in
God.
exactly the same path.
hold on.
Wait, no, I imagine you go for the tail, right? Because that's the bit that she's going to, like, go head over. You go for the tail, and to try and reach it, you have that, like, step onto the ice, and then you
And-
grab the tail, and she pulls you down with her.
Yeah, can Gann go for the tail, but then Xalfiz tries to grab Gann, and then he's like, "Wait a minute!" and he just gets pulled with him.
Just for the people who are going to listen to this on the podcast, Xalfiz was going to use his flash of genius to help out the two who'd failed ahead of him, and as he came to the edge of the stairs, going, "Are you idiots?" he rolled a 1 and probably careened,
Stepped in
probably
exactly the same
careened
path.
down Lady Penguin, like he went over the handlebars of Lady Penguin down his icy stairs.
I imagine Graham's at the top of the
Okay.
stairs, has turned back for a moment because he's the back of the group, taking a look, and then he turns back around and everyone's gone.
So Graham,
Christ,
you,
we're the worst. We're the worst.
as they all kind of sail down the icy
Scooby-Doo shit.
staircase, crashing and thumping their way, they leave you in darkness. Oh, or maybe of the flame of your sword. But as they disappear, the music stops and you are left alone.
So I'm probably going to decide to then now on purpose slide down in order to catch up. I'm like, I got to deactivate this thing, take it off
Yeah.
my ear, put it in my pocket, and go.
Great, we're
Okay,
very
so-
hurt.
I was going to say, so as you crash into everyone at the bottom, can I ask everyone to roll a d10, and that's how much damage you take
Oh no!
from these enormous.
Okay, I'm good at
things that are
rolling low,
solid.
except for this. I'm gonna get a 10, I bet.
I rolled
6.
Oh, I rolled a 1. Nice.
I rolled
Everyone's
6
rolling a
as well.
d10, right? Everybody?
Yeah. If you, you all do.
Yeah, I've jumped down of my own free will. 7. Son of a bitch. 7 temporary hit points gone just like that.
So you land on the base of this strange room. Beneath you, the floor is so slick, it's like an ice rink or a frozen lake, and it has a sheen like a mirror. It's not 100% reflective, but it's so dark and so smooth that it does have that, and it's reflecting the flame of your sword, Kuran. It's an enormous room, very, very high. Looking up, you can just see the tips of stalactites coming down from the darkness, and the walls in the distance, you can't make out they're that far. But maybe 30 feet away in the center, you see a misty form, a Reghed barbarian, a woman dressed in ice white finery, furs of, you think they must be a bear, but an ice white bear. And she's transparent, or at least semi-translucent, holding one of these harps. And she's staring at you, her eyes glowing with that inner radiance that you've come to recognize of servants of the Frost Maiden. There's a blink and a flash, and her eyes dull, and they just look hollow. And she begins to walk away from you.
Guys, I think we need to chase her.
Is now a time to use grease?
I don't mean that kind of chase. I just mean keep up with her. She's not moving fast, right?
Yeah, sure. Let's follow.
So she went over this way, and I'm holding up my sword, trying to illuminate the way.
So
How far away is she now, Joe? Sorry, just from us.
she's only about 30 foot away. But your progress across this slick floor, like I'm not going to make you roll for it, but it's hard to gain any purchase on the floor unless you want to try and slide, like ice skate across.
Can I take the mace and kind of use it as a like dig in, so there's something to like hold on to? That's what Kestra's
And if you all do something similar, I'm not going to make you roll, but it will be a slow progress. And this ghostly form just stays just out of sight. For those of you with dark vision that goes, has anyone got dark vision beyond 60 foot?
What's standard dark vision? I just want to know I have dark vision. You're killing me here.
Yeah.
I didn't know there was types of dark vision. What is it?
Yeah, no, it's up to. I think both of ours will be up to
60 feet.
Do you have the deluxe model? You really should upgrade.
I'll call my patron and ask them.
I barely know D&D rules. You're killing me.
You can just sort of make out the walls, and they're jagged and unevenly shaped. This isn't a circular room at all. If anything, it's sharp and oddly shaped. But you do notice out to your left a huge bundle looking like a gigantic nest of twigs and shattered furniture lined with, I guess, maybe bedding or seating. Maybe they've pulled the upholstery from the seating. And lying in it, snoring softly, is an enormous walrus.
Ooh.
So that's kind of off to your left, but this ghostly form is heading straight on towards a break in the wall, and beyond you can see something glowing. This sort of ice white glow, but you're too far away, all of you, to see what that is.
I was not expecting walrus.
What do you see?
I don't know what I see. I see a glowing.
You see it glowing?
Yes.
So
Over
you
there.
go towards
You can
the
probably see
glowing?
it as well. 'cause
Over
it's-
there.
You can probably
I see the
it too.
walrus.
You've
I see that, but
No, you don't. Only Xalfiz and
Oh, sorry.
Kestra see the walrus.
there's a
No,
walrus.
but the normal vision people can see glowing, right? Surely.
Does it look
Yeah.
dangerous?
It's a walrus. Of course it looks dangerous. I'm 3 foot tall.
And this is like a 10-foot high walrus. It's hard to tell. if it's lying down.
Decent sized
We're
dog.
talking about like a dire walrus here, Joe.
Dire walrus, yes. Exactly that.
I mean, he might be friendly like the whale.
To be fair, I'm not really worried about
It's
the
a
walrus. I'm kind
narwhal.
of more freaked out by the weird spectral lady in front of us.
So walruses are often 1,000 kilograms and 3.6 meters in length. So that's not even a large one if it's 10 feet. it's just a walrus.
Oh, you're the worst.
Thank you.
I
Thank
was
you for those
pulling
facts,
numbers.
Graham.
This is literally a giant walrus. That's what it's called. Like, it's a large,
so it's going to be even bigger.
like 20 foot long walrus.
That's your Earth walruses, Karen. We're in the realms. Which is a different thing. Yeah. Good, not thinking of Forgotten Realms. Favorite, yes.
We haven't
Remembered
tried.
realms. Yeah.
We haven't tried talking to the slightly transparent lady.
Give
That's
it a go.
very good point.
Lady. And I put my hand up to my mouth, trying to project my voice a bit. Lady, but in like sort of a semi-whisper.
So, Xalfiz and Kestra, you notice the walrus stir as Graham's voice echoes across the room. The ghostly form takes no notice and disappears through this gap. And those with dark vision, you can see that the glowing is coming from a door, and carved into it is a rune. And it's the rune which is glowing white.
That door up there, it
Appears to be probably magical to me. Without having inspected it, I would
Yeah.
suspect magical, right?
You're both reasonably high level magic users, so you can see that it carved into it is a single word: preservation.
guys, I think I found the trial room. That says preservation. That like magic-y looking door.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should move because the walrus is awake.
Oh.
It's
that's
very
good.
big, and I'm sure it's adorable, but it also looks like it could probably kill us if it wanted to.
Okay.
Let's move to the door.
Let's take this as a sign and preserve ourselves from the horrible, grisly death that we could have
Well,
by a
it's literally a
walrus.
sign that says preserve. But I can't wait. Yes.
Okay, so you make your way across the mirror-like ice and enter this strangely shaped room. Embedded in the wall is a door seemingly made from of ice itself, and in it is this glowing symbol. no, it's not Dwarvish. It's an arcane language. Maybe Draconic? No. But you recognize it. Those of you with arcane knowledge recognize it. And it says preservation. But there's no handle, no way obvious of opening it.
I mean, like, I can you unlock this, Graham? Because otherwise, we could just break it down.
I can
Unless you
certainly use my
preserve
thief
the
tools.
door.
See if it works.
Yeah, definitely. Give me a roll.
What do you roll when you're using thieves' tools?
You roll sleight of hand.
Sleight of
Sleight of hand. Pff. Right, then that's a +10. Watch as I roll a natural 1. Right.
For a natural one, I'm going to be so upset.
Nat 20. That's a
That'll
30.
do.
Door's open.
The door explodes off of its hinges.
Very
no
silently.
longer exist.
So Graham reaches out his hand to the door and touches it, and then his body begins to freeze. And you notice everyone else in the room, his fingertips are engulfed in ice, and the ice begins to envelop his hand, his arm, and before you realize it, his entire body is a statue, and he is frozen in place, entombed in ice.
Does this look like anything we saw above in the gardens? Okay.
Not seen anything like this.
He's entombed of ice, or he's not an ice sculpture. So his body is surrounded by
within the
ice.
yeah.
Okay.
This is what a nat 20 gets you, eh? It's rough.
Did anything happen with
this
the
is some
door?
grade A bull right here.
So you might have noticed, Kestra, the rune did flash for a moment as he touched it.
Still lit up.
Still lit up, yeah.
Fascinating.
Can I, at a distance, inspect it with my Arcana now, which probably shouldn't have done beforehand?
Sure, give me an Arcana roll.
Cool. Arcana is a +5. Ooh, hold on. I rolled an 11, but had a flash of genius that I'm going to struggle to make this work narratively.
I was imagining maybe like little glasses come down, sort of artificer things, and maybe little goggles, sort of what's the Back to the Future guy called?
Doc Brown.
Doc Brown.
You played a character called Doc Brown in our show before.
88 miles an hour. Anyway, and you zoom in and you see that the door is enwrapped in a glowing light, and this is a clerical power, and the light extends completely over Graham, and he radiates the same color. Whatever magic that's holding the door is also completely enveloping him.
Look, the door seems to have some sort of magic cast upon it, which is what Graham is now experiencing. I'm not sure how to break it, but breaking the door potentially could break it. If anyone has any better ideas, I'm open.
You want to shatter the door?
Maybe we just need to
You could ask
disturb
the
the
orb.
room. Oh, good idea.
Don't
Before we do anything that might, murder Graham.
I take out the orb. Our friend touched that rune, and now he's frozen. What should we be doing?
Oh, excellent. So I like the forthright approach to experimentation. Good on him. So I guess there's one of two things that's happened. One of them is he's triggered some sort of deadly trap and he's dead. The second one is he's activated the rune and he has been transported to the trial.
What do you mean transported?
Well, I mean, look at him.
He's frozen solid, but he's still here.
No, but no. The aura around him.
Okay.
Whatever magic is powering that door is now is taking him. I mean, I'd like to lean on the second one, but it's quite possible that it's the first. I mean, I don't have a body, but I.
Can I use medicine in some sort of way tell if Graham is still alive?
He's enwrapped in ice. There's no way of telling what's happening underneath.
So this all happened out loud now, did it?
Yeah.
All you can
I
hear is like a muttering under the ice. Don't shatter the ice.
Graham's not making any sound under the ice.
If it wanted to kill us, it would, right? What would be the point in setting up a trial if as soon as somebody touches a door that you haven't left any instructions on, it kills you? What would be the point?
It's the trial of unfairness.
I mean, I don't mean to bring up the topic of serial killers and crazy people, but like with a garden full of ice bodies. But as a man of science, I'm willing to test it out and see if I get transported. I don't know how or if I can communicate back to you. As I flick through my spell book, I definitely can communicate back to you. If only I had sending stones.
Well, I mean, there's still the aura around him. I don't see why that would remain if he was dead. Surely it would just stop. And there are trials, so Gann puts his hand out and touches a rune.
Same thing happens. As soon as his tips touch the door, he's enveloped in ice. It takes only a second for his entire body to be sheathed like a statue, preserved forever.
Oh, there might be a third option, actually. I mean, actually, maybe you're just being preserved, and maybe that's... Oh.
He disappears.
Isn't the orb frozen as well? How are we hearing the orb?
Yeah, that's the last thing you hear.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
I'm just imagining how terrible it would be for the orb to be trapped in ice and just still talking.
Oh, God.
So
This would be a great end to our show if this is a TPK, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Everyone froze and died. Next week, meet our new adventurers as they head out towards
He fell for my cunning trap. I call it the peer pressure trap.
Instant ice
Icy
death.
version of the rocks fall down, is it?
I
mean, there's a radiant energy,
Oh my
right?
God.
As somebody with infernal heritage and a knowledge of magic, can I tell whether this radiant energy is kind of like a holy radiant energy or just like a weird creepy radiant energy? Like, can I get a sense of that?
So it's not radiant energy as in like the damage type. It's clerical energy as if it's powered by clerical power rather than arcane power. So it's not powered by the weave, as it were. It seems to be an elemental power.
Well, Xalfiz?
and look, I don't know if it'll transport Lady Penguin, but just give me a sec.
And he's going to turn her into the flamethrower cannon. And like,
I guess we're going for it.
and sit onto her and drive into the leg of Gann.
Okay, as Kestra and Xalfiz are entombed in ice, I think this is a very, very good time to take our 10-minute break. We'll be back in 10 minutes' time to find out if that really was a TPK. We have a new set of players.
Secretly, we're re-rolling our characters in the break, right?
Yeah.
4 new people. It'd be great if 4 new people came up with Joe. Screw those guys. They've been holding me back for years.
Thank God they're gone.
Okay, so we'll be back in 10 minutes. Thank you so much for watching.
Personal log. Emergency medical hologram 4061, Jupiter Station. I have been interfaced with the Danube-class runabout to Rio Grande as proctor to 4 young Starfleet cadets embarking on their final practical exam. They are tasked with piloting their ship to Tartarus Prime, a supermassive gas giant near the Romulan border. Despite Starfleet's eagerness to recruit more officers, the 4 I have been tasked seemed as capable as any, and their skills well suited for our mission at hand. These are troubling times of transition for the Federation. It has been a decade since the scientist Serova opened a subspace rift by overloading her ship's warp core engine to breach, demonstrating that conventional warp cores did in fact cause severe damage to the fabric of space-time. Most warp-capable species reacted promptly, limiting travel to Warp 5. Starfleet makes exceptions for emergencies, of course, but any speed above the limit that is not in response to an imminent threat must be approved by Central Command. Once the retrofit of the Rio Grande is complete, we will disembark from Jupiter Station for a 2-month journey to Tartarus Prime. Upon arrival, we are to rendezvous with Dr. Hartola, an Orion geologist. She has been investigating interactions between the natural dilithium deposits on a moon orbiting the gas giant and the powerful waves of electromagnetic energy that form on its northern pole. Dr. Hartola has requested a Starfleet vessel to take detailed readings of these energy waves and how they affect the lithium samples we will lower into the gas giant's atmosphere. Later, we will be joined by the Cerritos, a California-class starship that specializes in engineering projects. Once safely docked, ship and crew will be transported to our final destination, the Scientific Research Station, Regula 1. Starfleet only recently declassified the existence of the Genesis planet after several attempts to replicate the mechanisms of its birth produced nothing. The Genesis device worked exactly once, and those results have never been replicated in any form.
Hello, and welcome back to Rime with the Frost Maiden. Our heroes have journeyed deep into the Frost Maiden's castle, an ancient structure that was once the home to the giants. They have found at its base a dungeon or a cavern with a mirror-sheened floor, and at the end of it, a doorway marked with one of the Frost Maiden's symbols, the symbol of preservation. When they touched it, they were turned to ice and transported away to a faraway place. You each open your eyes. Above you, the sky is clear, and you see a myriad of stars, hundreds of them, thousands of them, sparkling above you in a way that you have not seen for almost 3 years. You are standing on the endless tundra of Icewind Dale. The Rime is no more, or maybe this is a time before the Rime existed. You look to each other and are horrified to discover that your beings have changed. Each of you has been subtly altered by the Frost Maiden's magic. Your bodies are frozen and ice white, and your eyes glow with that terrible fire that marks you as one of the Frost Maiden's own. But you are yourselves. You drag your eyes away from your frozen companions and stare out across the tundra, where you see, only 100 feet away, a campsite with more than a dozen tents arranged in 2 concentric rings, with the larger tents clustered near the middle. This is the encampment of a tribe of Reghed barbarians. But no fires are visible, and you see that several tents are collapsed and broken. What do you wish to do?
Say to the others, we should probably go investigate, see what happened.
Good news from upstairs.
By the way,
First
you
off.
look, you all look a bit frozen, E. And then as I put my hand out to like gesture or point at them, you look a bit weak. Oh shit! I see myself being like really frosty, frozen. Are
Kestra
my
looks
eyes like
down
that
at her,
as well?
her hands and panics
Oh.
momentarily at the color of her skin.
Yeah.
Fascinating. It changed us when we left to a different plane. Am I taller? Am I taller now? Am I tall in this plane?
They're about
No.
10% larger.
Oh, excellent.
This is familiar. This is Icewind Dale. But Icewind Dale, before or after the Rime has been cast, the stars above you glitter brightly. And even though it's night, it's actually lighter than a lot of the times you've seen, with the moonlight reflecting off the ice around you.
Now, you see any landmarks around that would kind of indicate where we are?
You kind of spin around and you look in all directions. Can you give me a perception roll?
Can I have advantage because I'm from the Dale?
No.
Oh.
Can you have advantage because he's 7 foot tall?
No.
I rolled a D10. Sorry.
Sorry. Yeah.
I rolled a 7 plus 5 at 12.
Okay, so you look behind you and you think, you're not sure, you think you see something in the distance, many, many dozens of miles away, that could be the shadow of Kelvin's cairn, the mountain in the center of the 10 towns, but you're not sure.
So, look, logically, guys, we need to. Was this perseverance or preserve?
Preservation.
Preservation. Sorry, I keep mixing up what was written down. So I don't know what we can preserve here. Like, maybe the encampment looks attacked because there's tents and stuff in that, right, Joe?
Yeah.
Maybe we have to I don't know, protect this camp, preserve it. I don't know.
Are we sure
Well,
that this is that trial?
Well, that's what said in the door when we
The
came in
rune
the door of it.
read preservation.
We saw that ghostly looking woman who was playing the song of that tribe. Maybe this is their camp. Maybe this is something happened, and that's why we saw that weird spectral form. In the time that Kestra has been in the Dale bounty hunting, has she ever come across any stories about something happening to that particular like camp of people, like any notable, like someone went after the camp or a large group of them went missing or anything weird.
The
like
lyrics to that song you mentioned. Yeah.
So from where you are now, you can't even make out what tribe it is. But if you want to give me a history roll, I can tell you a bit more
You
about
said-
the Reghed tribes.
Yeah.
All right. So Reghed tribes is more than one tribe. Like Reghed isn't the name of the tribe.
So Reghed is, I mean, they live under
Reghed
the
Glacier.
shadow of the Reghed Glacier.
Okay.
What you're hoping to crack open.
Ooh.
Good
So-
roll.
So there are numerous tribes. They often follow like an animal totem. So there'd be the tribe of the bear or the tribe of the elk, and they're the two strongest. The tribe of the wolf as well. But there are dozens of tribes, each of varying power. You do know as well from your journeys around the Dale over the last 2.5 years, that some of these tribes have begun to worship Auriel herself. And other than the druids, they are a source of her worshippers, but also of her clerics.
I think Kestra will probably relay that bit of information. We might be looking at either a tribe that maybe worshipped her, or perhaps refused to if something terrible happened, and that's why we got that really awful, sad song from the ghost lady.
All right. How about we move on and see if we can find some clues?
Yeah, let's.
I think we should go investigate that camp.
Okay,
Those
can I have a
tents.
marching order?
Loot the bodies. Loot the bodies.
The marching order is Graham up front.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. You're playing
Yeah.
rogue wrong, my friend. Let me teach you a thing.
It's fine. It's fine. I have the ability to disengage, so I'll be all right.
Kestra will go up front with Graham with her mace over her shoulder.
I'll
no-
go out behind them or at the back. I don't mind. Up to whatever
Okay.
Xalfiz wants.
I will eventually follow on behind.
It's all four of us, shoulder to
Sounds
shoulder, taking marching line.
Skirmish line. I
Yeah.
mean, you could have a skirmish line if you want to spread out. That'd be possible if you want to go together.
I am perfectly fine at the back.
It sounds like Graham and Kestra are heading first. So Graham and Kestra, who has the highest investigation? I think we established it was Graham. Or was it +8?
Yes, I have +8.
Okay, so Graham, can you give me that investigation roll with advantage? Because
Yeah.
you've got Kestra pointing out things in the
Okay,
dark.
so that's 22 on the first one and 24 on the second, so 24.
Okay, as you approach, again, you're struck by the fact that no fires are visible. That is very unusual, because not only do they use fires within their tents, like that soft glow should be visible to warm themselves, but they also use fires outside to protect themselves from the deadly beasts that roam the tundra, and there are no fires lit. You also notice as you approach that the snow is flattened, as if there's been a battle here. And when you get within maybe 30 foot of the camp, you see a trail of blood, an evidence of drag marks, as if a sorely wounded person was trying to claw at the hard-packed snow to prevent themselves from being dragged, pulled back into the camp, but failing. As you pause to stare down at the kind of claw marks beneath you, you hear the sound. In fact, you hear two sounds. From your left, sort of where there are 2 or 3 tents completely destroyed and lying scattered, you hear the sound of 2 beasts breathing heavily. And you can hear their rasping breath cutting through the wind. To your right, you can hear the sound of a child crying. And every time it cries out, the beasts to your left stir in their slumber.
Kestra bolts immediately for the sound of that child crying.
What's everyone else doing? As
Gan
Kestra
would like
runs
to-
off between the tents.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
try
Kestra.
and-
Oh, go on.
Like, I'm assuming that Kestra and Graham have our understanding what we've just experienced, but Xalfiz and Gann are slightly behind. So when Kestra runs off towards the child, I'm going to be explaining, big beasties over that way, child over this way, and they just see Kestra running off into the snowy darkness, I guess.
She was a
She
mum.
would-
She can't listen to a child crying.
She would dart between two of the tents and out of your sight.
I think Xalfiz would follow after her.
Gann will kind of follow, but make sure that he is in a position where he is between the beasties and wherever the crying is coming from.
Can I ask a mechanical question, Joe? Does this count? Is this like an instance, or do we have our spell slots back or not?
So
This
there's
isn't
not
like
been
the
a
first.
long rest.
No, okay. I wasn't sure if it was the same day.
Do we have the same equipment or crystalline
You
weird
seem
versions of
to,
it?
But it is
Okay.
like covered with a rime of ice. Like,
Okay.
everything about you's frozen. Your skin, your clothes, the hilt of your sword. This sort of
Okay.
you are frozen zombies.
So Xalfiz is gonna like not sprint after Kestra like at the same pace, but like, try not to lose sight of her because just running off somewhere we don't know doesn't seem like a good idea then.
Okay, so with the other, is that I'm getting right? Everyone's following, or is anyone else hanging back?
No, we're all following.
Okay, so you break through the outer ring of tents, and you see in the center of the encampment there are 4 larger tents. 2 of them destroyed, 2 of them still standing. The crying sound is coming from one of the destroyed tents, and you run towards it, Kestra. It sounds like you're going kind of a bit out of control. The other 3 emerge from the gap between the 2 tents, and you see to your left, as Kestra's running in front of you, 2 silvery white dragons, each one large, maybe as large as a horse and a half, you maybe something like 10 foot long, slumbering, entwined with each other. Surrounding them are pools of blood melting through the tundra beneath them. There's the occasional arm, a hand, a kind of half-chewed torso, and you see that their maws are caked in dried gore. From this distance, you can see that one has an eye half open like a snake, and its pale eye is gazing out, half focusing on Kestra as she runs across the distance between her and the tent. And I'd like everyone to roll me initiative, please, starting with Kestra.
I was like, they're sitting in pools of blood. Oh, good, they're dying.
18.
Okay, Xalfiz.
No, I rolled, sorry.
Oh, sorry, gone.
I got a 15 plus 1, 16.
Okay,
I'll go now, yeah, with a +2. I rolled an 11.
and Graham.
Rolled a 18 with a 9 plus 9.
Nice.
Jesus
so you will
Christ.
I'm assuming that you have higher dex than Kestra, so you will be going first. Let's just see how the 2 dragons do. Dragons themselves, let me just see, get a +0. So you
18 decks, just to. I'm not sure.
When you
Way
describe these
better than my
dragons,
decks.
you said they're white. They're white, Joe, but they're
Silver.
or silver. They're organic looking, or can we tell?
No, they're definitely I mean, you know well enough. These are dragons, and they're white dragons, probably young white dragons, similar to the bodies you actually saw on the door of the. Oh, I suppose they were skulls and bones, but
Okay.
both the dragons rolled 7, so it is Graham first.
Oof. So I guess I get the surprise attack then, do I?
If you wish to, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and attack them with the with my rapier.
So you're going to close the distance between you and the dragon.
Yes. And I'm gonna try and stab it in the face or in the jaw or something like that.
Okay.
That place
Graham.
covered in human body parts.
Yeah.
I want to get that part.
Oh, God.
Okay, so give me a weapon attack.
An attack.
You do get a surprise round. This dragon,
Yeah.
no one was expecting this. So you can roll with advantage, and you will get a sneak attack.
Okay, so that was a 22 I got, and I
That's
can
a
roll
hit.
again in case it's a crit. No, 22 is the one we're going with.
Okay.
And then we're rolling 1d4 plus 4.
And don't forget your 40.
Oh, not plus 4, sorry. Plus. It was 1d8 plus 1. Was it?
Your
1d8 plus-
rapier's 1d8 plus your dex bonus, and then you roll 4
D6.
d6 for your sneak attack.
Yeah, 46, which is just so broken, isn't it?
You say that. I rolled a lot of 2s when I would do that.
So that's was that 7 and 12
So 19
Plus 4, 11.
damage.
plus
Oh,
4,
plus
yeah, 11, yeah. So 23.
Okay.
23,
so,
yes.
Nice. Okay. So you stab the dragon. You're aiming for the eye, but the blade just skims the side of it, catching on one of the scales. But it carries on going deep into the dragon's face, and there's a spray of white blood. And the dragon, only half awake at this moment, roars in agony and fury, and pushes itself up, stirring its companion. And you are facing a full wrath of this white dragon.
Well, I'm using my cunning action, which is a bonus action, to disengage and go literally disappear behind a tent. So
I thought you might see that.
I was like, my job is done.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kestra, you're up next.
I think so. Kestra didn't just bolt for no reason. Kestra has children, and so the sound of a child crying is immediately it switches something in her brain. And I think that she probably doesn't even notice the dragons at first because she's just going for this crying child until Graham stabs it, and suddenly there's this thing. And I think her instinct is still to just go for that tent. The dragon's distracted. She's not the one that's, she doesn't know it's seen her. So she's going to dive for that tent and see if there is, in fact, a child inside.
Okay, you kind of rip open the heavy cloth that's covering this mound, and you can see this lump where this sound's coming from, and you pull aside the tent, this heavy fabric, probably reindeer hide, and you reveal a woman lying across a screaming toddler, both dressed in white furs. The woman is dead. No, you realize she's just heavily wounded, and her blood is soaking her daughter's clothing and flesh beneath. And she looks up at you in pleading eyes and says in a heavily accented voice, "Please take my daughter, keep her alive, preserve her."
I think Kestra nods immediately and takes this screaming child. How old is it? Is this like a child that can walk, or is this like a 2-year-old that probably needs to be carried?
Yeah, she's probably like 3, so she can walk, but she's going to have those kind of baby leg walks.
I think Kestra will nod, pull the child to her because it's freezing out here, and if she can, she'll cast a fire shield on herself.
What does that look like?
So these thin, wispy flames look like they wreath Kestra's body, and they shed out this. They shed bright light in a 10-foot radius and dim light for an additional 10 feet. And they give off this kind of soft, glowing heat, at least to her and this child. But they basically protect her against cold damage and resistance to fire damage. But she has it anyway. But it's more a thing of she knows there's a dragon there, but also this child is probably going to freeze.
So in terms, it provides resistance. That's half damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the child kind of, its fingers enwrap themselves in a piece of your clothing, holding on tight as you pull it away from her mother. You wreathe yourselves in flames which illuminate the clearing, and you look over to this dragon. One of them has its eyes firmly on the gap in the 2 tents where Graham went. The other one is looking directly at you, and its eyes are reflecting the fiery glow that lights your form. Gone as you're around.
Well, he didn't necessarily want to fight the dragons, but Graham makes these impulse decisions and we all have to roll with them. Seeing Graham aggro the dragon and the other one now looking at the tent where Kestra ran, Gann...
Kestra's in the middle on a flattened tent, so she's literally 30 feet away from the dragon.
Well, seeing where
lit
Kestra
up
is.
like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Gann will start chanting basically, and he's waving his staff over his head, and clouds start forming above head. And I'm going to cast Call Lightning at 4th level.
Okay.
How have we not seen this before? You've had that this that long?
Well, we've always been fighting indoors, and I haven't been able to use it.
There was a shark.
Yeah, I'm going to Call Lightning underwater. That makes sense.
Shock all of us.
We were in
Everything in the ocean dies.
There's electric eels. It could happen.
So yeah, basically, storm clouds start forming overhead, and as they kind of materialize, I will slam my staff down on the ground and I call down lightning onto where both of the dragons are lying.
Fantastic.
Everything within 5 feet of that point must make a dexterity saving throw. On a failed, creature takes 4d10 lightning damage. On a pass, they take 2d10.
Okay, they both get +3.
It's
so
a
we got
16 off.
21 and a 16, so they both
take
pass.
2d10.
Hey,
Yeah.
Joe, you and your goddamn rolls.
I'm so glad Kuran learned to disengage, because it means I can actually use spells.
I'm gonna roll the 4d10 and then I'll half it.
Okay.
He just wants to know what it would have been.
32. Oh, 16 damage each.
Oh, nice. Okay.
That's a really good roll.
That's a great roll. Wow.
What's great about the spell is it lasts for 10 minutes and I can just call down lightning every turn.
As a bonus action or an action?
Bonus action, I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's an action.
That would make more sense for this level.
Yeah, anyway, go
Okay.
on. I'll read it and we can. Also, I'd like to kind of. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to do much hiding at this stage, so I'll try to get behind a tent with my movement, but.
You could literally just step back and you'd be behind the tent. I mean, it's not a brick wall. These are flimsy reindeer
dragons,
tents, but
I mean,
you're
That's fine.
outside.
They might not have even noticed me, to be honest, because one of them is staring at Graham, the other one's looking at the flaming beacon that is.
As you're there dancing and
Fiery
singing and
warlock in the
chanting.
middle of this.
Okay. Xalfiz, it's your round.
So Xalfiz is going to knock Lady Penguin into high gear and speed over towards Kestra and this child. So I have a quick question for you. Inspiration, does that allow me to take a second go or no? Remind me of inspiration, what the rules are, because I have not had it in a long
It
time.
lets you re-roll, basically. But you can
Reroll
also
just-
let someone else re-roll, yeah.
Okay, well then that slightly changes me go. So he gets over to Kestra, is like, all right, look, I assume the trial is to preserve this child. You've got to get out of here. Don't worry about us. And I'm going to put my hand on like the child's head and cast invisibility on the child.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I know.
What if
nobody's
she
trying to do a
drops it,
good
though?
move.
Wait, couldn't you just cast it on me if I'm carrying the child?
You said you asked could it walk. You asked could it walk. I don't know what your strength is.
Didn't we establish last time that if you cast it, because you're going to cast it on the whale, then
Whatever
everyone
you
else-
carry it on will turn. If something's carrying something, it will turn. If you cast it on the carrier, it will turn the carrier.
Yes, okay, fine.
invisible.
No, it's like chess, it's touch move, you've made the child invisible.
Okay, look, kids, you're going to have to carry Kestra. So yeah, I couldn't remember what we had last time. I wasn't sure if I thought I didn't cast on the whale because that didn't
No,
count.
you
Okay.
didn't cast it on the whale, we just discussed.
No, I was just kidding.
Okay, grand. So I was like, did we change our rules? So yeah, I'm gonna look. You've got to get out of here. Don't worry about Don or Graham or me. I'll get away and they'll fight probably, but you need to protect this kid.
You're such a piece of shit.
I'm based it on history. I'm a man of science. This happened last time. And I'm going to cast invisibility on Kestra and move. Depending how far I move to Kestra, move back towards Gann, but I assume I can't get into cover.
Okay, so it's the dragon's go. The dragon that was woke up by its partner flipping over and was staring directly at Kestra. As Xalfiz touches Kestra's form and turns her invisible, it breathes this icy breath across all of you. Xalfiz, because you're kind of running away, you're going to be just on the edge of this enormous cone, so I'll give you advantage to your roll. And Kestra, obviously, you're going to get resistance to this because of your flame shield, which is going to, I imagine it's going to be like the Predator almost, like as the frost breath envelops you, you're going to appear for a moment as the flame flickers and
I
burns away
imagine
the
it's just like the fire. Like the fire just flickers up like a fire out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know how this works. I don't know if resistance stacks because I'm already fire resistant because I'm a tiefling.
Fire,
Or
it doesn't
it's
stack,
cold,
no, but it
okay.
will protect the baby to some extent. So it's
To some
half
extent,
damage.
Of course,
if you
it was
pass.
resistance.
Well, no, it only does half damage.
Yeah.
So it's 45 damage.
What's the save?
So can you give me a save throws?
What is the
Wait,
save?
for who?
It's 16.
Okay,
No,
so we're
15,
talking about
15 Constitution.
Okay, that's
15
important.
Constitution.
Okay, so I have to roll this as well, even though I'm running away.
I rolled 7.
No. Just Kestra and Owen. 7. Okay, so Kestra, you do take half damage because obviously you're using your fire shield and you're actually have it anyway. So you'll take 22 points of damage, and the child is wrapped in your cloak, so it's protected apart from its face, and the side of its face is hit with part of this cold blast, only partially deflected by the shield, and it screams out in pain and then goes silent. But you can still feel it murmuring against you. It's still alive. Xalfiz, what did you get?
I got 15, but I realized in a moment of genius that I could duck down behind Lady Penguin and get a +5 to that to make it 20. I've got 1 flash of genius left. This is really bad.
Don't use your flash of genius because 15 is enough. 15 will pass. So
I think it's 16. Sorry.
No. Sorry, I did it first time. It's my mistake. So you take 22 points of damage.
I cast as a reaction Hellish Rebuke.
Oh, nice. So how much damage is that? Does it get a saving throw?
Nice.
It does. It makes a dex save. And
is
my
this?
spell save
Hellish
is
Rebuke.
something.
It only gets an 8, so it's failed.
Yeah. So it takes. Gosh, where is it? 1d10, I think. Sorry, I can't remember what. I'm just trying to check which level it does this. It's 2nd level, so 2d10.
Okay.
Some days Xalfiz will take an attack from something that uses AC because I've taken this out shield and I've never got to use it because it's always a saving throw with these fucking dragons.
14.
Okay.
So angry.
Okay, nice. I mean, it hurts it. So how does the Hellish Rebuke look as you its damage is reflected back upon itself?
Well, Kestra has infernal heritage, so I imagine that, like, there's the invisibility's gone as the flames from the shield die down, and streaking just out of the darkness straight towards this dragon is what looks entirely like hellfire. This incredibly hot, incredibly bright, brighter than the shield was, just streaks out and slams straight into it, with its maw still open, I imagine, as it's letting out the breath. It just right in the back of the throat.
And because you both took half damage, I imagine maybe it took it actually down its throat and cut the breath off halfway through, and it kind of chokes for a moment, and then as you disappear, its eyes fix on Xalfiz, and it lets out a low growl, and it heads in Xalfiz's direction. It leaps across the distance, its wings half flapping, and it lands in the gap in the tent, facing off in hand-to-hand combat with Gann and Xalfiz. The other dragon leaps after Graham. Now, Graham, I need you to give me a stealth check, please, as it starts stalking you.
Do I still have my pass without a trace?
You do not.
It'd be like nat 20. No,
So roll,
That's
18.
8 hours long, though.
No, also it's concentration, and I need to get a different
So-
concentration spell now.
so you got to beat 25.
I got 18.
Okay, so you duck behind the tent, and there's that kind of moment where you've got your back to this canvas and you're in almost pitch black as the moon is kind of on the other side of the tent. You're in the tent shadow, and you can hear the dragon's growl as it stalks up from behind you, and you kind of sort of hold your nose. You've got to try and stop yourself from coughing, and the dragon just leaps forward straight through the tent, landing on top of you, forcing you to face down into the snow, and it bites into you, or at least it attempts to. Its first bite attack, and does 8 + 7, 15 to hit.
15 to hit? That is exactly what is needed to hit.
Okay, so that's a hit. So it bites into you. Oops, sorry. It bites. That's the wrong one. It's 2d10. Sorry, what's
You've done it wrong twice there.
I've done it wrong twice, yeah, sorry. Where are we? Oh no, it's the roll 20's stolen my dice. I'd got all these ready in advance so I could just press one button, and now it's disappeared off the bottom. So 2d10 plus 4. I have to work. Okay, there we go. So its bite damage does 18 points of piercing damage into your back. Ooh. And then you feel the cold penetrate your skin as its breath breathes upon you. Takes another 2 points of damage, so it's 20 points total. And as you're kind of reeling from that damage, its 2 claws strike into your back. The first one for 25 to hit. The second one
that hits.
For 25 to hit.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
So the first claw does 2d6 plus 4 damage, so that is 13 points of damage. And the second one runs into you again and does 11 points of damage.
So can I just dodge all of this? Is that a...
So you've got uncanny dodge. You can use it
Yes.
on one of them, I believe. So you probably want to use it on the more damaging attack, which was the...
This uncanny dodge, when an
20.
attacker that you can see, that you can see hits you with an attack, you can use your reaction to half
You
the
get one
attack damage
reaction- you
against
get one
you.
reaction
So one
around.
reaction, yeah.
Yeah, so you can halve the 20 into a 10, which will be the best.
Yeah, so then that makes that 10, 2, and 11,
Yeah,
and
so you
13.
take a total of 34 points of damage.
Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna take that.
Jesus.
And the dragon's basically on top of you as we get
Yeah,
to the top of the
so
round.
I'm on
It's-
20 HP.
It's,
Oof.
I'm just letting
It-
you
it-
know as a DM so that you don't murder me.
and it's,
I'm pretty sure that's what he's trying to do.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
no.
I'm not the one that went and poked a dragon in the eye.
Hey, it was a pretty good shot.
We have choices. You made one, and it's your round.
Now you reap the
It's-
consequences.
It's my round.
It is your round.
So, yeah. I think I'm going to try and deceive the dragon and make it think I'm dead.
Nice. Okay, so you're just going to kind of flop down.
So I completely just, against every inch of my being, I want to scream out from being bitten and clawed, and I'm just going to cease to move as if I'm unconscious or dead and
Okay.
hope that it buys.
I love that idea. Give me a deception check.
Okay. Come on, roll 20. Roll the thing. There we go, 25.
25. Okay, remember that number because we'll find out if it's successful in the dragon's round.
Okay.
Okay, Kestra, your round as you're reeling from the icy dragon's breath.
Where Kestra is there anywhere obvious to go? Like when we first came there, was there like a doorway or an arch, or
No,
are we just in the middle of nowhere?
no, but you can give me a perception roll. Now that I think the only person that looked around was Niall or Gann, sorry, and he looked behind him to see where he was. You've not really checked out the area too much. So you kind of try and look beyond the tents, and the way you came is just the endless tundra. In front of you or behind the tents in the opposite direction, you think you can see the shadows of rocks, but they are a good 200 feet away. But you're not sure with a 9 whether they would offer any kind of safety. It may just be that you're going to make yourself an easy person to attack.
Okay, so I think Kestra is going to. She has a moment where she stood there and like the chaos is happening around her. And as she's holding this child, she looks down and notices the ring that's around the middle finger on her hand. And kind of breathes out a small sigh of relief. And she's going to, from the ring, she's going to let out Expeditious Retreat as a
Nice.
first level spell. And she's basically, so this gives her a bonus action at the end of her turn to take the dash action. She's just
Okay.
going to use her entire turn to just break towards those rocks as fast as she can.
Wow, so you can cover 60 feet plus another 60 feet, is that right?
Oh gosh, I have movement in. So I have a 30 foot speed. So if I
So
I-
dash would double it, and then you
Yeah.
can do, another 30 feet on top with Expeditious Retreat.
I think so, yeah. It says you can take the dash action. So if I use all of my turn for all of my movement plus the dash action. I can't remember how
I'm
running
sure
in
chat will
D&D
correct
works.
us, but you kind of you would blur, but obviously you're invisible at this moment, and you just leap across the ice, and in moments you've left the circle of tents behind you, and your feet are pounding across the ice. You can feel the child clutched against your chest, and its face feels warm and wet on the from the ice burn against it. But you are gone, and you've disappeared away from them, and as you are enveloped by darkness, the whole scene begins to fade, and there's a kind of like moment of disorientation as you're in two places at once. You're in one in the ice on the tundra, another you're back in the Frost Maiden's abode, and then that disappears, and you combine, the two parts of you combine, and all of you are stood outside the door, soaking wet as the ice that encased you, entombed you, has melted, and Graham collapses as the vicious wounds he had been struck from the dragons takes hold of him, and he teeters and falls. He's still alive, he's still grievously wounded, but judging by the fact the rune on the door has changed, you have each passed the first of the Frost Maiden's trials.
Seeing Graham, I would like to immediately cast Cure Wounds on him. I'm going to use 2 first level spells to cast twice on him.
Okay,
So that would
how many hit
be
points?
2d8 plus 10. So I'll roll that now.
Roll well.
I'll try, Graham.
I was just about to disguise as the kid for some hijinks.
Oh, I got 16. Sorry, I rolled a 1 on one of them. Fuck.
I'm not complaining. That puts me on 36 HP. Yes.
I'm assuming Kestra is no longer cradling a child.
No, you're not.
After I heal Graham, I would like to slap him in the face. The next time that we see dragons, Graham, don't attack them.
Yeah, I know. I just had to get, my revenge.
I mean,
For
outside-
what?
For all
things
those times we
considered.
get dicked over by dragons.
Look, we had one dragon, and in fairness to it, we were on its horde. The other dragon was made of Shardlin. We couldn't, and it saved us in the end.
I mean, hold on. For those keeping count, it's us 2, dragons 1. Well, I guess they kill the 2 of you. So 2 all. Like, it's not a bad result. I mean, Graham did help us, prevent the child from dying. So
And I will give you inspiration, Graham. You can tick that on your character sheet because I
Just to
love
piss
the
off
idea
Niall.
of deceiving the dragons.
I'm totally dead.
It wouldn't be effective. And also, for those of you that have arcane abilities, you notice the door has changed from preservation to endurance.
Oh, here we go.
I just want to point out, if we're doing endurance, maybe it would be best if we can rest. I mean,
Yeah.
relatively safe. And like Kestra's still a bit shell-shocked. She's still kind of holding her arms as if she was carrying a child, and it takes her a second to kind of snap out of that. But she's she's like, the side of her is badly burned. She's not doing too well. She's like up against the wall, like hand on the ice.
point of order. There's a giant walrus over there. Maybe go upstairs. I don't know if we're very safe here, but there's a giant walrus right there.
Hasn't killed us yet. I'm sure it'll be fine.
I
mean,
will
it could've
say,
hurt.
just for a bit of bad news, due to the heat of the island, because it's so cold, you actually cannot take short or long rests. on
This is
the
a
island,
great bull clap.
which is doubly
Does anyone
effective
have any
within
healing magic?
Oriel's castle.
That walrus nest looks pretty cozy.
If we go and kill the walrus, then cut it open, can we rest inside of it? It is 20 foot tall. That's like a pretty nice condo.
Just got double the length it was a second ago.
No. This was
Do you know how much
the
you
voice
pay
of
for a
the sky.
walrus in London right now to live in?
And actually, this is probably a good time for you to give me those survival rolls to see if you do take on any levels of exhaustion for being on the island.
This is your fault.
What are we rolling for survival then?
So you
40.
need to give me a survival. You need to get over 10.
Rogue Constitution is fun.
Is it survival or constitution?
So I mean, I think survival.
It's
is
the same.
constitution. Yeah. But if you,
I
if you
rolled
have
a
points
2 + 1.
Oh, you do have inspiration if you don't want to take on.
I
exhaustion.
do no longer have inspiration.
I got a 17 plus 5
You're good.
I got a 13.
You're good.
plus 1.
I rolled a 19 + 1.
It's
Thank
probably a
God.
good thing.
Thank God.
So does anyone-
Kestra.
I got 3.
You got 3. Okay, so, I mean, Graham does have inspiration if he wishes to share it. He does. Obviously, I don't want to
Yeah,
peer pressure.
I'll share his inspiration. On more than one occasion, Kestra has saved my life.
Dick move.
Is
Dick
that a
move from the
reroll or does it
GM.
add to stuff? I can't remember how inspiration works.
It just means that it just means you can reroll.
Reroll.
Oh, cool.
You really painted Kuran into a corner. I was going to say no.
18.
there we
That's so
go.
much better.
Ah,
Okay, what do you wish to do?
Well, I am going to. So,
I got hit by the blast, but I avoided half of it.
Yeah, so you
And
took
Kestra,
22, I think.
Kestra took a full
I
hit
took
point
half damage,
resist.
but that was a lot of damage. So I don't have many hit points.
Yeah, so
quite
I'm going to spend a slot of cure wounds on myself and on Kestra,
Thank you.
which is 1d8 plus 5.
Do I roll that or do you roll that?
I'll roll the two of them, and you can have the first one, and I'll have the second one. How's that?
Cool.
That work?
That works. Anything is better than 13 hit points.
Right. So you got 11, and I got 12.
Thank you.
I'll use my other 2 first level slots to give another cure wounds to each of them. I was going to wait till after the next trial, but I was like, doesn't matter either way because they're not going to be at full.
You don't.
No, Ixnay saying don't
The
take.
next trial is endurance.
For me,
I,
there's no.
I feel like all of us.
Oh, for you, there's no point? All
The
right.
majority of mine was used on temporary hit points.
Oh, nice.
But what I might do, because the next one's endurance, I will waste my last slot at a second level spell and cast aid.
I will waste.
No, this feels like an endurance spell. It can't hurt. It gives everyone plus 5 maximum hit points and 5 more hit points.
So they don't stack.
What?
Temporary hit points don't stack. So if anyone's already has temporary, I guess if you all used your temporary hit points from
Mine are gone.
Lath-
I haven't. I still have.
So I get
No,
5 more
No,
maximum
Joe.
current.
Hold on. Stop. It's hit points. It's not temporary hit points.
Okay,
It's hit
that's
points.
right. We've had this conversation before you, so they do
Yes.
stack. Okay.
I'm maxed out on health and I still have 6 temporary hit points. I put myself between Kestra and the dragons and I didn't get hit once.
Does that mean I
So-
don't get 5 temporary hit points? I get 5 more hit points. That's it.
You get 5 on your max hit points for 8 hours. For rules and not messing up your maximum hit points, probably easier to put them as temporary, I would say, Joe, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
You get 5, so your cap goes up 5 and you get 5
Okay,
healed
nice.
back. So I'm more or less a full health Niall. That's what I was going to say.
I'm about halfway.
Okay.
I will
So-
put that on. I only get to put on 3 creatures, so God, I guess you probably are the tankiest, so you don't get it, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
fine. That's absolutely fine.
Okay, so is there anything you wish to do before you step forward and accept Oriel's second trial?
Do we just go for it or?
Really
Yeah, I think we just
cheeky.
go for it. This
Ask
time I
some
won't
more
stab anything in
healing.
the face.
I'm going to take a ring out of my bag and put it on my finger.
Oh, finally.
I thought about it last round, but like it was hard on the water to cast a ram through the water. So I got the ring of the ram to put on in preparation.
If you like put
This
on the
is-
rig of the ram, use all
has
3
never
charges and
failed.
punch down into the whale.
Blow a hole through the gut and sink us. Oh.
So as you all touch the door and accept Oriel's icy embrace, you're all transported again to Icewind Dale's distant past. Because above you, the Rime is no more again, and the clouds reveal another beautiful and glorious night sky. You stand at the base of an enormous mountain, its peak hidden in roiling clouds thousands of feet above you. A thin, icy trail meanders up through tall, jagged, snow-covered cliffs before disappearing out of sight. You look to your companions and you are not possessed, undead, bearing Oriel's looks. No, you are Reghed barbarians. You are dressed in the snowy, like polar bear hide. You're ice white. And Kestra, you are a young woman, probably in her early 20s, and the side of your face is burnt red and scarred.
But we're all together, right?
Yeah, you're stood
Yeah,
next to
okay.
each other.
So this is new.
Kestra is having another moment of going, oh God. What am I this time? I'm assuming she doesn't look like a tiefling right now.
Doesn't know. You're all human. Again, you're dressed as as Reghed barbarians. You don't have any of your equipment. Lady Pen is no longer there. Most of you are carrying clubs, although Kestra, you have like an ornate staff tipped with a sharp point, which basically acts as a spear. But it has things wrapped around it, so as you thump it into the ground, it jingles and rings.
Oh my god, I'm actually tall.
Yeah, that must be a weird
Oh my god.
It's gotta feel weird being so small, Gun. You can't.
Yeah, I'm short.
Is this what it feels like to be?
Can I-
Xalfiz?
I check my hand to see if I've still got the rig on.
You do not. You have none of your items. Anyone who's a spellcaster, you no longer have any spells or abilities.
I like go down on all fours and like, I'm a saber-toothed tiger now.
Rawr! Yeah, you can't understand me, guys. Rawr!
I don't know if there's any way for Kestra to kind of prove that this is the case, but I think her first suspicion is immediately with the burned face. She's thinking back to the child that she rescued who caught the dragon's breath on one side of its face. Does she think that reasonably that could be the body she's inhabiting?
I cannot confirm or deny, but you do know that ice dragon's breath can scar terribly.
That's the DM's way of saying
After
yes.
After years of studying, ice dragons, dragon fire hot.
Dragons can scare you.
So, which trial is this, or are we unaware yet?
Endurance.
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 I
Okay.
paid little attention, card. Come on, man.
Relax.
Once again, could I take in our surroundings and see if I spotted anything familiar in the dale?
Yes. Give me that a perception check.
Do I keep my own perception or?
You do. I'm not. Just for ease, I'm not going to give you all character sheets. So in terms of stats, you are still yourselves.
I get a 13
I get a
plus
0 in
5. I get an
strength instead of minus
18.
1.
So you are in the far south of the Dale and the spine of the world. The mountains, probably not actually that far from Sunblight Citadel.
And would Gann or would I know of any barbarian encampments around here?
No, it's actually very unusual that they'd be this far south. They normally stay to the north or to the east near the Reghed Glacier. So
Well,
this is an unusual position for them to be in.
When we were in the Citadel, did me and Gann not see some human remains? Or am I wrong on that? Up in the top of the thing. No?
Where? Sorry?
In the Citadel? Is that what it's called?
There was Sunblight. No, so there was Duragar remains. You saw
Duragar, okay.
a
I just
murdered
never seen
guard.
remains, okay.
There was a
And we're by ourselves, right? There's no one else with us.
no.
Do we have any
Yeah, just you.
any
just the
trail
four of you.
behind us or in front of us?
Yeah, you kind of glance back and you can see your own footsteps leading back into the dale. And actually, you rolled quite high, so when you look down, you can actually see a small encampment, maybe 500 feet away in the darkness. 2 tents, again, reindeer hide.
So we've got to endure something.
Looks to the sky to see if there's dragons, I guess. Isn't it?
There's a dragon with a scar underneath its eye.
Come back.
A really
please.
sore throat.
You're stood at a path leading up towards the highest mountain in the southern spine of the world.
Do we want to go back and check? Is there anyone at the tents we can ask questions? Or
Why are
Might
we
not be
here?
a bad start. So hold on, the first trial, it was about saving the girl,
yeah,
right? As soon as we got her away from the dragons, it all faded. So that was, we preserved her. This is endurance, so either we have to go somewhere. I assume it's about the journey, right?
I think it's
Surviving.
about a journey. Yeah.
Not about the destination.
Are we
Yeah,
facing
so-
towards the Citadel like we're heading to the Citadel, Joe?
No, so the Citadels, you can't. It's just a coincidence that you happen to be a few miles
Okay.
away from there. It's just a familiar spot. So
Okay.
no, there's no.
But there's no
nowhere in sight.
landmark or mountain or something in front of us. Looks like we could have been traveling to.
Just a very big mountain.
This mountain. So there's a trail in front of you. So there's a trail behind you leading back to the sort of base camp, and there's a trail in front of you leading up this steep incline towards the black cliffs above.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, surely we've got to endure whatever lies ahead, as opposed to camping in a meadow.
Got to be this
But-
mountain, right?
The question is, where are we going? Are we trying to go up the mountain, or are we going somewhere else? And this just happens to be along the path.
We won't
I
know
wonder
unless
if
we
it
travel, I
even
guess.
matters, as long as we're enduring something. But the mountain would be the obvious choice, right? Steep incline, climb upwards.
How long would it take us to get back to that encampment?
500 feet, like minutes.
Few
Minutes? Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I go back there and just
Here's our
see?
GM says to no, says go up the mountain.
Well, I'd like to go back and see is there anyone else there, or if there's any indication
Your
of
voice says you
plans.
can. Your eyebrows say go up the mountain.
So they're two small tents. There's rations enough for maybe a week. They're split into two. There's 3 beds in one and one in the
Is there a
middle.
fire?
The one with a single bed is much more ornate. You kind of peek in, and the others are much more rough with kind of old, very used furs as bedding, and the possessions seem scant and not particularly rich. The other one is much more opulent, with the furs being extremely sort of, again, I don't know the best ways of describing it, but it's thick and luxurious, and there's evidence of expense, if such a thing exists.
I don't know if you're going to like this or not, Joe, but I'm going to ask if this is the kind of place we could potentially take a long rest.
Yes, he's a genius. The man's a genius.
And would that long rest then carry, like the same way we seem to carry over wounds from this place? Would we not carry over benefits of a long rest?
Sure, you could try.
I'm not sure. We don't appear to be in our own bodies in this one, so we don't.
You're the worst, Niall. That's what Xalfiz says.
Supposed to be building the argument, not destroying it.
I'm sorry, I'm thinking about this logically.
I'm sorry, without rules, how can anyone have fun?
Says the man with full hit points.
I mean, we can find out if it works, because if Kestra's hit points go up after a long rest, then it does something. But
Kestra, do you feel like you're at full hit points right now?
no. Kestra goes back with you to that camp and sees this single tent, which she assumes is probably hers. On account of her having lots of jingly things on her staff.
Oh, fair enough.
But also, she doesn't really care if it's not. It looks like the comfiest. Are we going to try to long rest, or?
I think we'll attempt a short
we can
rest.
short rest, yeah, which is
Okay.
like an hour, isn't it?
Okay. It feels very cold. Both the tents have these like burners within them, with coals within, particularly in Kestra's tent. But they don't seem to warm you at all. Any food you eat doesn't seem to quench any hunger, and if anything, you feel less rested when you've spent an hour here. And I'd like you to give me all a Constitution check to see if you take on another chance of exhaustion.
This probably wasn't your fault now, but fucking, I'm gonna blame you.
Resting in this place is
15?
It is. You need to get above 10.
Oh, thank God.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I rolled something completely wrong altogether, sorry.
I got a 4 plus 5.
Constitution check. I got a 17.
And I got a 4.
So
Okay.
me and Xalfiz failed.
Okay, so you need to both take on a level of exhaustion. That means that all skill checks are now rolled at disadvantage.
I thought I was going to get another inspiration out of this.
Cute. I thought it was really clever to ask, to be fair.
It was really clever to us. I always feel like giving you inspiration because it's very much in character, which is maybe not the cleverest thing to do in the trial of endurance. To
Go for a nap. I can wait here all day.
Point taken. Right.
Oh.
So I feel like crap. How about we go up this mountain?
Yeah,
Well,
probably.
the reason we came back to the tents is, do we have anything in them that indicates what we're doing here? Was there any notes, any map, anything like that?
weird symbols or?
I actually really like that idea. Yeah, give me an investigation roll.
Really?
As
I wanted to do that before I took a goddamn nap.
Do you want me to roll investigation? Have exhaustion.
No, I think it needs to be now. But because you did suggest it to begin with, you can do it before you take on exhaustion. That's fine.
I feel like because he's just become back here. What's the opposite of inspiration?
No.
Just no.
I get a 10 on investigation.
So you don't find any evidence in your tent. Do you wish to try and go into the tent that was assigned to?
Do you want to request some help? Maybe we can.
Yeah, well, I would like to suggest it to everyone to see if they can help me.
You can roll with advantage then.
Okay.
I've +8 if you want me to take. You can just tell me to go look at the other tent.
I mean, yeah. Can I do that?
Kestra rules
Stop asking, can you do that?
to allow them to
Jesus.
search.
Because I'm not just okay. Fine. Yeah, Kuran, you go do it.
All right, yeah, I'll check that out. Oh, I got a 19.
19.
What did I find here?
So again, looking through Kestra, or the body who Kestra is inhabiting's possessions, you find a diary. It's written in a strange tongue, but you can make out the words. You're not sure how you understand these runes and symbols, but you do. And it does seem to be a diary that's kept, at least haphazardly, over many years. And deciphering some of the story that it's telling, it seems that the woman for it is a woman who owns this diary, has taken on a quest. Ever since she was saved as a child, she has hunted for the beings that's helped her. And she has discovered that these beings represented a now dead goddess known as Auriel, who had been struck from the skies by 3 gods working together: Mala, Talos, and Umberly. And she has searched long and hard and discovered that she believes the body of Auriel lies at the top of this mountain.
We must endure our way up the mountain to get the... Yeah, according to this diary, your diary, and I point it at Kestra. You wrote these words. We need to go up the mountain. This trial's gonna suck. And you said we've tried the food here, we've tried to rest, and nothing works, right? So we know that we can't rest, and food does nothing, and we can't drink any water, or it doesn't do anything, doesn't quench your thirst or your hunger, so time is against us.
There's quite a unique mechanic here. So as you kind of exit the tent into the blisteringly cold wind and gaze up at the steep trail above you, I need you to gamble your hit points. So you're going to roll a d20, and you need to roll under however many hit points you gamble. So if you gamble 10 hit points, you need to roll under 10. So obviously, the more hit points you spend, the easier the roll is.
So this for all of us, for one of us, for what's going on?
Anyone who wishes to climb the mountain.
I think that Gann should climb the mountain because he has good stats for climbing.
Yeah, I'll gamble.
Is it rolling? What, just rolling flat?
So what? If I gamble 20 and I get an 18, I pass.
Yeah, so if you...
But if I get an nat 20, I lose 20.
If you gamble 20, you pass no matter what. That's an instant pass, because if you equal the number, it's still a pass.
I'll happily gamble 15 if like there's more.
Yeah,
there's more than half.
I'll gamble. I'll gamble 20.
Does it consume the HP that you gamble?
So this isn't. So the first climb is not the top of the mountain. So there will be other climbs after this climb.
That's fine. I'll still gamble 20.
That's
like
important.
if I roll below, I pass, right?
You just need to roll below. So let's do it one by one. So whoever's going to head off up the trail first, say how many you're gambling, and then try and roll under it. But do you remember to deduct the hit points?
If I roll under, I don't deduct. Oh, I
No,
lose.
you deduct the hit points no matter what. So whatever hit points you choose, that's how many you lose.
All right.
And if you fail, you don't succeed in getting
You
up
don't
there?
know what happens when you fail.
I'd take more exhaustion, maybe.
I'll gamble 15 then.
Okay. So
Okay.
give me the roll. Let's see if you make it.
3.
Yes.
So Gann
What a good
hikes
roll.
up, disappearing into the darkness above. Who's
And I
next?
take 15 hit point.
You
15.
take 15 hit points of damage. Yeah.
I'm gonna try and follow suit when I see how easy it looked, and I will gamble 10
Okay.
hit points.
Oh my god, I was going to be brave and go with 12.
No, I lose 10 hit points and I don't make it.
Okay. So if you wish to, the Frost Maiden's Rime begins to dig into you, and you feel the breath being sucked out of your body and your flesh freezing beneath. If you wish to continue up despite failing the roll, you can take on a level of exhaustion.
Ooh, I will not be taking on a level of exhaustion.
So Graham stumbles and falls, his body freezing still, now a corpse on the ground.
Lesson learned.
There's no like, yeah, if it wasn't for me, you guys wouldn't know the rules. Okay.
See, because of me, they have a warning.
Yeah.
Without Xalfiz, Graham was a man of science.
Graham was a man of science. That's, yeah.
Who wishes to go next?
He died how he lived, pointlessly. Let's go.
No question. Will Flats of Genius work with this, Joe?
Yes.
So I get -5, right? As opposed to +5.
So you just add it onto your roll.
But that's bad.
So let's say if you said 10 and you rolled an 11, then you could use a flash of genius to make it a pass, so you don't take on any
Okay, yeah.
exhaustion.
Okay, that's fine. As long as we're good with that. In that case, I'll go with 10 as well.
Okay.
5. Happy days. Take those 10 hit points from me.
Okay. So you do stumble and you feel the frost enveloping your body and your very soul, but you manage to grit your teeth and hike up into the darkness. Kestra.
Can I gamble temporary hit points?
Yeah. You
Okay.
just gamble. You just gamble hit points. It will deduct from however many you have. It's actually a really good thing to cast aid. It's a very good idea.
I will gamble 9. I will gamble 9 hit points.
I feel like we're just now trying to outdo each other in a terrible game of Russian roulette.
Oh no.
I just don't have very many hit points.
Okay, so again, like Graham, you stumble and fall. Do you wish to take on a level of exhaustion?
Yes.
Okay, so you'll roll a disadvantage on skill checks from now on as you make your way up to the next level. The path ends in a narrow ledge. To your left, you are greeted with an incredible view of Icewind Dale under thousands of stars. Above, the moon Lyra and her 9 followers cast a pale light over the endless tundra of the Dale. Looking around, it seems the only way to proceed is to climb up the steep, icy cliff that disappears 100 feet above you.
And I'll lead the way if the other two want to follow me, and hopefully if there's any kind of traps or slippery bits along the way, they'll see it.
Okay, how many hit points do you have left by any chance?
58.
58, okay. How many are you going to gamble?
I'll do 15 again.
Okay.
Just narratively, I assume we're all doing this at the same time, right? Like in a row.
Yeah.
I rolled a 3 again.
God damn.
Okay. Do you
Jesus.
wish to take on a
You should
level
be,
of
should be like,
exhaustion?
I'm gambling 4.
What?
No, he passed, Joe. He
Oh, you
passed.
pass. Oh, sorry. No, you don't. That's my.
Joe's just like, Niall, you take
That's
exhaustion
okay, yeah.
anyway.
He's like, you're exhausted. You're falling over the snow. You're dead. Next.
Your frozen fingers dig into the icy rocks, but although they are completely lacking in feeling, you manage to pull yourself up into the darkness and over the top of the cliffs above. Who's going next?
I'm happy
Oh.
to go. I'm sorry. If you want to go, ladies,
Yeah,
first, I guess.
I'll gamble 6.
Gosh, okay.
Wow.
Oh,
How many hit points do you have?
20 right now.
I rolled
Okay.
with
I've only
disadvantage.
got
Right?
41 total. She's quite squishy.
That's 2 rolls you have to do, isn't it?
Oh, any other time.
Okay, so do you wish
How
to
much
take
did-
on a level of exhaustion?
How much did she gamble? Sorry.
9.
Oh man. Okay, never
No,
mind.
6,
On your
I
own.
think you gambled.
Oh,
6.
6 was it?
I gambled
Sorry,
6.
9 was the initial number you gambled.
Yeah, and you rolled 12?
What happens at 2 levels
15.
of exhaustion? Can I ask that?
Your speed is halved.
Yeah, sure. I'll take it.
Okay,
How many levels of exhaustion is there?
6.
Okay.
You don't want to
Feeling
get
like
6.
at the end of all this,
I
we're
know
gonna
what
finally
happens
get.
at 6.
But to be
We're
fair,
gonna-
like 5 is your speed is reduced to 0, so you're in big trouble at that
You're a
point.
statue.
What's going to happen is we're going to go through all these trials, and we're going to have no HP or anything. But we're going to finally meet the Frost Maiden. She's going to have 1 HP, and we're not even going to be able to kill her.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with
my dastardly plan.
Yeah.
Apart from she has about 300.
I'm gonna go with a big
Am I
juicy.
making note of that? 1 second.
I'll go with a big juicy 6.
Okay, 6. 17. How many hit points does Xalfiz have?
I still have plenty. I have 42 still, but I'll take the second level of exhaustion.
Okay, so your speed is halved as you pull yourselves over the cliff to the next level. Right, you reaching the top, you are greeted with a raging wind that almost blows you back off the cliff, and it's so cold it freezes your skin despite the thick layers of clothing. Ahead is a steep plateau of knee-deep snow leading up to what you believe is the top of the mountain. Who's going next? Do you wish to continue?
I'll lead the way again. I'll do 12 this time.
Okay.
Oh, look. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh, I can't give you my flash of genius to help you with it. No one's been near.
I'll take the level of exhaustion.
Okay, so as there's 3 levels now.
That's just my second
That's
level.
2.
Was this your second level? Okay.
Yeah.
No, because you had. Oh no, that's right. Yeah. So your speed is halved again as you stagger on through the knee-deep snow. Let's keep it in order. So Kestra is up next.
I will bet another 6.
Oh my god. Please God, make me.
Oh no!
So the Xalfiz tribesman realizes that Kestra's struggling and is going to tear his pack that he's carrying or whatever his satchel he has and try and just wrap it around to like a shawl as a flash of genius, I guess.
Okay. So Kestra, you pass. You don't.
FYI,
don't
folks, that's
take
the
on
last of
exhaustion.
them. Oh no, I have one more after this. Cool. I have one more because we didn't use the last one.
Okay, Xalfiz, last one.
I'm going to go with a big 12. Let me take the hit points off first if I don't, I won't remember.
How many? Oh, you got quite a lot of hit points. haven't
I've
you?
got 30 left.
Okay.
Yeah, my total is 64 with 8 is what my total hit points is. Oh, pass on the tie, right?
Very nice. Yeah, pass on a tie. You're absolutely there, and you
Stuff.
all make your way to the top of the mountain. You crest a rise and look down upon a huge caldera, an enormous crater, hundreds of foot in diameter, at the center of which is a still black lake that reflects the stars above to create a dizzying effect. And thinking back to the story that Graham told you from the book, you can imagine the Frost Maiden falling from the darkness, falling from the sky below, pierced by Umberlee's trident as she crashes into the mountain, rending the top off the stone and creating this pool. And you somehow know that you need to get to the bottom of this lake.
Great.
Is there any rocks around?
Sure. Yeah, it's the top of a mountain, so anything you can imagine would be around in the top of a mountain is there.
I'd like to huddle together with the other two and be like, okay. If we can get through, is the ice frozen over?
No, strangely not, although it's completely flat. Despite the fact there is a raging wind around you, the lake itself is, mirror smooth.
I can go and try to recover the body to complete this task. If I don't come back, good luck to you too. I'd like to pick up a large rock.
Whoa. That's the team talk. That's the plan. That's what we're going with.
Well, do you have any other ideas? My plan is to weight myself down to get to the bottom of the lake and get to the body.
Oh no, but I mean, that's
Going-
as long as we're all in agreement. Just making sure.
Wouldn't going together be better?
I
Because
mean,
otherwise it's just one person drowning after the other, right?
You're in bad shape. If we can try together, but
it would make more like one at a time makes more sense than us all drowning together. When people start to drown, things get like carnal instincts kick in, and you start grabbing at people. Like us going together is not a good idea. One at a time, maybe.
Can I look in the journal and see if the body I'm inhabiting, if the woman wrote down what the hell she was supposed to do at the top of this mountain with the lake? If there's anything in
that's a
there
good
about
idea.
it.
That's an
Does it
inspiration
tell
word,
us,
yeah.
here's how you deal with the creepy lake?
Is the lake
So-
warm?
Yeah, it's actually a jacuzzi.
So
Oriole's just
she-
chilling.
Yeah, it's just fine. Yeah, just hang out at the edge. No, so she has been searching her whole life for the people that saved her and her mother from the dragon attack, and she has put that hope upon the worshippers of Auriel. And she believes that Auriel's dead body, the frozen corpse of a living goddess, lies at the bottom of this lake, and she plans on resurrecting her.
We sure we want to retrieve this body?
I mean, we've got to pass the trial. It's a trial for Oriel. We're doing things like we've asked the question: are we the good guys? We don't know.
I don't know if changing something here will change anything where we are now.
Fair.
That's spoken like a guy who didn't get hit with ice fire last time we had trial. It makes a difference.
What do you think if we change this? Who's to stop any one of Oriole's?
These events have already happened, right?
I would assume so.
No, because we changed an event.
Maybe the
that
same
kid's
event just
right.
happens no matter who takes the trial.
Exactly.
Maybe we're just replaying a bit of history, not making it.
Why would Oriole give people the ability to stop her being resurrected?
This mightn't even be real. How do we know any of this is real? I mean, she hasn't been struck down before, has she? Who knows? Like, this could be just a fun story of a demigod.
Give me a history check.
Oh, cool.
Can I do a religion?
I have a plus 8, so
or religion if you prefer, yeah.
I hope to God I realize this with my plus 8 and have to go, actually, wait. Definitely was told this in school. I got 13 total.
13's not enough to know this.
Ugh, I got
And I definitely haven't
2
heard about
plus
this.
5.
It's silly.
No.
Can I give it a go? Why?
Sure.
Just for the fun of it. My history is terrible, but
This is a great round for me. I put
Oh, yes.
where was that earlier? Where was that nat 20 earlier?
Realistically, earlier you wanted a nat 1.
yeah.
So you do believe you've heard the story of this minor goddess. She fought against the three. Umbali, who's the goddess of the sea, who got angered with Oriel freezing her oceans. Of Mala, who's the god of the hunt, I think, and Talos, the god of the storm, who bound together their powers to defeat Oriel, to cast aside her godly form and absorb her portfolios and her power. And thinking through what is in the diary, it could be true. Oriel's corpse, after being struck down by Umbali, could be at the bottom of this lake.
Story's true, then maybe what we're seeing isn't redoing history, but maybe this is how she came to come back. If this is before the rhyme happened, maybe we're seeing.
This is the body you're in now is possibly the person who brought her back and, I guess,
So-
cursed the rhyme.
So the secret of all this is whoever saved this person, he points to whoever Kestra's currently inhabiting. Like, whoever saved this kid is the cause of all this?
Indirectly. Maybe it's one of those weird time loopy things where, because it happened.
We all saw 80s movies apparently in the Forgotten Realms. So yeah, right. I'm at a loss. So what's the
all
plan?
going into the lake, or just one of you ought to go?
If you want to go together, I will make one final attempt if you fail. But
I
I don't
kind of-
know if it's wise for us to go together.
I don't know if it's smart for me to go in the lake, considering how not great I'm doing, but I feel like if this is following some pattern of history, that as I am inhabiting the body of the person who was searching for Auriel, it would be strange if I didn't go into the lake. But it could kill me.
If this is in character, I wholeheartedly agree. Well, either way, I wholeheartedly agree, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who
So we're
wants to go
tying.
first?
So we're tying a rock to Kestra, throwing her into the lake.
I mean, we
We
can
don't need
both
to
go
tie
in
it to
once,
someone.
right?
We can carry it. Yeah.
You all go.
How deep does the lake look, Joe? You said it was crystal clear. Like, is it like a 10-foot deep lake? Like, is this a big deal?
So you kind of make your way down through the heavy snow of the steep caldera and arrive at the edge of the lake, and it does reflect the stars perfectly, and in fact you cannot penetrate the waters at all with your sight. It literally looks like a mirror reflecting the sky, but when you touch it there's like shimmers of what are they called, the ripples going out across endlessly.
Xalfiz,
take the-
goddamn science.
Can I take the spear, which I assume is fairly long, at least maybe a little bit shorter than I am, and just tip first, see how far, if I plunge it in until, my hands are just holding onto the end, can I feel the bottom of this pool?
Your spear just disappears all the way down to the haft. In fact, you almost lose your balance. The edge is sheer. This is not like gradually getting deeper and deeper and deeper. It is just straight down.
Creator, okay.
Sort of like an atoll almost. Is that how you...
Graham was still alive. He'd swan dive.
You would.
Grant's not alive.
There's like
That's exactly why he's not alive.
does jingling the bells or anything like cause anything to happen? Does anything happen when she uses the spear?
I'll jingle the spear and see. as soon as it's mentioned, she's like, oh yeah. Just
So you jingle your spear and you feel that you suddenly are mirroring history. There's a moment where rather than just acting out actions, you are actually performing a rite that happened in the past. You are doing exactly what the person you are representing did, and everything kind of slots into place, and you may roll advantage on your roll in the swim.
I guess we're going for a swim then.
I guess so.
Maybe we should all just go so that we can move on to the next scene then, yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like that's what Joe's working towards, so let's go with that. Joe, quick question.
Yeah.
Seeing as I'm a human now, can I get my -1 made to 0?
No.
Oh, it's worth a shot. It's worth a shot. I asked nice, please. If I said please.
Absolutely no.
Who would like to go?
what do we have to
Word is
roll for
shot.
the swim?
To say same
Acrobatics, please.
We're gambling still.
You still gamble your hit points.
Okay.
Oh,
6. But we roll with advantage, right?
No, just you do, because your actions
Oh.
at the edge were mimicking the actions of the person you're representing.
I'm the one who came up with the
You also said something like okie dokie or something like that.
Yeah.
I was listening quite carefully.
That was even before we started playing.
Both of those are fails.
Okay.
Oh no.
I'll use my flash of genius to get one of them to be a pass. That's my last. That is my actual last one. Sorry, I called it one early.
Okay. Let's all roll and then I'll describe what happens.
Okie dokie. I'll do. Fuck it. I'll do 10.
Hit points.
That one, baby.
Nice.
Never thought I'd be cheering that on.
I'll do 8.
Very nice. Okay.
Remember that time you did a nap?
Of course. Of course.
Oh,
I rolled a 9.
Okay. So, do you wish to take a level of exhaustion, or do you wish to leave Kestra to go down alone?
I will take a level of exhaustion. That's my 3rd level of exhaustion.
Okay. So, level 3 exhaustion is disadvantage on all attack rolls and saving throws.
I wouldn't even know the difference.
God, what do you wish to do?
I took the 10 damage. I passed.
Oh, sorry, you did. Of course, you would have won. So
You're just trying to give exhaustion to me.
okay, as you dive into the freezing cold lake and begin to swim through the darkness, you feel pain in excruciating clarity. It's incredible, nothing like you've ever felt before. And as you swim down through the darkness, you see at the bottom a figure, a woman of incredible beauty, seemingly carved from ice. But her body has been rendered with talons and burnt as if by lightning. And her chest has been pierced with an enormous trident. And you know somehow that that's what needs to be removed. And what does your flash of genius do, Xalfiz, as you push Kestra down to grab the trident?
So, as I see her kind of flagging behind, kind of almost unable to fight the buoyancy of her body, I'll take off one of the, like, I assume it's like a poncho, like almost a skin poncho, like an animal skin poncho, and hold it back for her to almost tow her down with us. Even though I'm the one who's knackered with 3 levels of exhaustion.
Maybe that's what happens is you kind of stop paddling and push Kestra on to help her, or pull Kestra on to help her get down to the bottom. You breathe in and you suck in this freezing cold water and take on that exhaustion. And Kestra, as you reach the trident and pull it from Oriel, that's who it is, body, she begins to animate and she gazes across you all with these glowing blue eyes, and the scene fades and you find yourself back in Grimskull Castle. And I think that is probably a really good place to leave tonight's game. So we will be back next week with the final 2 trials of Oriel, and
we've only done 2.
If our players can become Oriel's chosen and find their way into her inner chambers.
I mean, I don't want to point out the obvious, but we've all passed half them. We can just skip the next 2, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Do we know that? Is that what the orb said?
We should talk to the orb before the next one.
For sure.
I mean, that's what I gathered, but I wasn't paying attention.
So again,
assuming I'm not dead, right?
Well, there's just 3 of you. So next week we'll
join next week to find out. But we will know. We'll have a new guest.
So again, thank you so much for playing. It's been an absolute blast, and thank you everyone at home for watching and for listening. If you're on the podcast, I've been Joe Trier, your GM. You can find me on Twitter at HWR Podcast and on at Joe the GM as well. You can find all of our podcasts at How We Roll Podcast and at DoesItRoll.com. And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/How We Roll, where you can find all of our episodes and you can get early access to all our episodes as well, including Call of Cthulhu, Curse of Strahd, and we have some secret Patreon-only content which you can find out about on our page. Owen, thank you again for playing. I'm glad you survived. I was worried about you at one point.
Yeah.
Please, where can people find more of you?
People can find more of me on Twitter or Twitch at How We Roll Own. Own is Eoghan. It'll be a bit quieter for a couple of weeks while I'm trying to source a new PC as I blew mine up, basically. I'm also on the How We Roll and Does It Roll Discord. I have my own Discord, which will be linked on my Twitter. So you can follow me there and then jump onto Discord. That's the gist of it, really.
Brilliant. And Niall, again, thank you. Again, I wasn't really worried about you. I knew that you'd be a hit point stack in this. I'm just glad that you couldn't turn into animals and just torture animals up the mountain.
Just fly up the mountain. I am Niall. You can find me on HWR Podcast Niall on Twitter, or you can also find me on the Does It Roll or the How We Roll Discord. Just at me if you ever want to ask a question, and I'm usually hanging around there somewhere.
Tell him to stop screwing us out of advantages as players. Let's just give out to him. Keep screwing me and Kurt.
You know what? I don't want to be a sneaky little fucker like you.
Why don't you just play a paladin? You're such a paladin.
I don't know. Maybe next game, Owen. Maybe next game. Then you'll really hate me.
Oh man.
And Kuran, I do apologise for killing Graham. He's had a good run. I've enjoyed his antics.
Yeah.
Very brave to attack a dragon head on. I mean, it in terms of this scenario, you absolutely saved the child. It was Very effective. Anyway, how can people find more of you?
He was brave, right? So if you want to find me, they can find me on Twitter at Kuran_J. Or you can find me on the Does It Roll Discord or the How We Roll Discord. Yeah.
Amazing. And of course, playing Ethan on Two-Headed Serpent every week on How We Roll.
It is right, playing Ethan. We've caught up now. We've got to keep going. We've got to record regularly.
And last but not least, again, thank you so much for joining us, Virginia. How can people find more of you?
Thank you for having me, and also thank you for everyone else here for keeping me alive, my very squishy warlock alive. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at Tabletop Horde. Twitter is where I normally post stuff, and I stream every Monday The Walking Dead and rotating games every other Friday. We're doing the finale for season 2 of The Walking Dead tomorrow, so if you want to see me be sassy about the zombie apocalypse, that's supposed to be.
And I don't know if Aram can speak. Aram, can you speak? Because you've done some amazing stuff tonight. Amazing. And hopefully everyone can hear you.
I believe so.
Tell us. How can people find more of you?
Well, you can find everything I do on Twitter at Vartian. The trailer for the Star Trek show that you saw mid-break that'll play once we're wrapped up, as well is the new show that I'll be starting when this one wraps up in March. And then you can also find me on the How We Roll show, the Curse of Strahd show. I play a cat who has died twice. She's lost 2 of her lives and is on their 3rd life, which we'll find out about soon.
It's completely stolen the show. He's just it's amazing. And we will be starting season 4 soon after we finish Rime with the Frost Maiden in 3 weeks, I want to say. But yeah, so very, very, very soon we're going to be continuing with Curse of Strahd, and it will be our finale. So we will be heading to Castle Ravenloft for a showdown very, very soon. And I think that's a wrap for our game tonight. Owen, do you want to do our after show?
Yeah,
show.
Is that we're going with?
After show. No?
So I, as always, would take some patchy notes during this. The first part, just funny things that went out. For anyone who's listening, if we get this on the podcast, do you think many of the listeners will still know what Morrowind is? A game that's probably 16 years old plus at this point.
Yeah, I probably should have said, like, what is it?
Elder Scrolls.
Skyrim. That's the one that's a bit. It's only
that's what the kids like.
But Morrowind is more like 22 years old, I reckon.
It might be Windows 98, maybe. Yeah.
I had it on Windows ME.
Remember Myst? Yes, when we all played Myst.
Point-and-click adventures, Lucas Arts games. That's where you want to be. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what to make of this episode. It was interesting. It was definitely different to what we normally do. Well, maybe not that different. We're worried about dying the whole time, but I was definitely frightened to touch stuff all the way through until we figured out what the trials were. What about you guys playing? Virginia, what did you think going into it?
I mean, I wanted to touch everything, clearly. I don't know, it's kind of my philosophy with games, because like for so long I was only like, when I was playing D&D, I ran it for like 2 years solid and didn't get to play. So now when I play D&D, I'm like, touch all of the things, press all of the buttons, and see what chaos ensues. So
yeah, I mean,
sometimes it works. We saved a kid.
That's the Graham approach anyway.
It
buttons do not press. He punches it
immediately. Doesn't even read the text that says "do not press." Just sees the button.
In Kern's defense, like you see your character sheet, and it's like cunning escape or evasion, uncanny dodge, cunning
all these things to avoid taking damage.
Hey, you guys were standing in the crater where it looks like there's bombs dropping on. Press this button that says bomb and see what happens. I don't know. How did you feel, Kern? Dying and all.
I was fine. I mean, it was fun. I think I got to push some boundaries. The thing that I think was really was interesting was I had like a minor lapse in concentration, and then I was like, oh my god, dragons, and then he's like, roll for initiative, and I hadn't copped on the fact that the dragons were asleep.
I didn't think they were asleep either. He said when I was open looking at Kestra, to be fair. So I was like,
asleep. Yeah.
No. So I assumed that like when he says roll for initiative and then I come out on top, I was like, all right, let's attack these fucks before they attack us. That was my thinking, right?
I was with you. I thought it was a great move.
Yeah, but then
hindsight.
it's like, oh, Kuran started some shit with the dragon. I'm like, seriously?
To be fair, I feel like that was kind of Kestra's fault because I reckon that she's probably the one that woke them up by just not even realizing they were there, like running past looking for this kid, and then Graham comes behind and there's this dragon that's now like staring out. I don't know what else he was supposed to do.
I think you're right with the roll for initiative means that yes, there would have been combat, but I was also hoping we might be able to do it a bit less violently, I guess.
You wanted to do combat non-violently, is it?
Well, I was hoping that we might be able to sneak by them still, but
but that's not combat, is it? I don't think we're. I'm pretty sure Joe would have been like, and now it's like as you try and sneak, the dragon is taking your legs and your soul.
I thought it was a really cool scene, and I think the way.
Oh no, it was good. I liked it.
Cinematic.
No,
I
I'm
love
not.
To reply to
in your cunning action, it's like you've read your character sheet, and it's I'm so proud of you.
Like to talk about like Niall's idea of playing it clever and cute. Like Kuran did what I was going to do in the second trial and be clever and cute and just say, well, like I'm just not going to respond to whatever the danger is. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, cool. Like
it wasn't even like I had a chance to flip on it where he's like, you will die if this happens. He's like, no, you're dead.
Yeah.
You are a warning to the others.
If I had gone before you, Kuran, I was dead.
Trial means.
There isn't like a flashing red light before this happens. It's like you're not going to continue. You don't want exhaustion. You're dead. You're done.
Yeah.
One of the trials is called cruelty.
The minute you die, Kuran,
we better have Kuran back because we're going to need him for that one.
I assumed it called endurance. He might endure one shot of something or something.
Yeah, nothing.
Half his hit points.
Yeah, or like 2 levels of exhaustion, but not be dead.
Yeah.
Then we knew not to play it with Tempt Fate.
Yeah, the minute you dropped, I was like, oh, that would definitely be me if I had went next. Like that was where I was going with this. I was like, I'll gamble 4 points. Be real clever about this. Nope.
I thought Kestra would be dead long before the end of that. I'm very grateful that you kept me alive because I'm sitting at 2 hit points right now.
I'm on 22 after it. And I was
you say you're grateful. I'd rather be dead than be on 2 hit points in a place where I can't even rest.
Yeah, that's true. Next up, the walrus is just going to eat you.
So
this is the point where like Kestra is, when they're back in the little castle, is just sitting there staring downwards at the floor, imagining her patron being like, the fuck is this, man? Come on, what is this? Like, help me out. What is the whole point of this whole pact thing if you're just gonna let me die?
or like, are you going with another god? You going for a new patron?
I will choose a new patron. She's just sitting there being like, I wonder if I can bully my patron into giving me things if I just threaten to leave them.
I will say, so mechanically, the character that Kuran was playing within, or the character that Graham was playing within the trial died. The difference between is you've all passed the test of endurance, whereas Graham hasn't. So you 3 have passed 2 of them, whereas Kuran has only passed 1, because by by failing the hit points and not enduring, and then refusing to take on the what's it called, the
trial.
Yeah, no, my brain's not working. It's too late. The condition, exhaustion.
Second level of exhaustion.
Level of exhaustion.
You're so tired you can't think of exhaustion.
It's been a really long day.
I think it was just punishing Kuran because every trial went to, wait, what trial is this again? Like, that's up there with, wait, who the fuck is Lee? Like, it's just as bad. The whole episode's about the 4 trials.
Oh, so you what fucking trial that is?
Just for reference as well, Sam has come in and chat and said Morrowind was 2002. God, I'm old.
Played it earlier than that. Maybe not.
So I don't have a huge amount more because we kind of just went into the castle. We started the door. What was going to attack us, Joe, coming out of the eyeball? Did we ever see what it was?
You'll have to, because you might be coming out that way, so I don't want to give it away.
Oh man, I wonder. I just realized now in hindsight, and V wasn't there for this, but what's the name of that creature that we saved that Niall made friends with? Was it in the Asians Represent episode? It was like the centipede fire.
Oh,
centipede thing.
well, we didn't exactly make friends with it, but it ran away.
You shared a moment.
It was an ice centipede, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Remoras.
Remora.
Anything that didn't
Remoras.
directly kill me is now a friend.
Yes.
Centipede, but
Xalfiz, I feel like Xalfiz just doesn't know what a friend is exactly.
So
Friends
I
are
will
people
say,
that just don't kill you, right?
Yeah.
I do
At
need
this
to shout
point,
out,
yes.
because I have completely rewritten these trials. So the dragon, they're nothing like they are in the book, or at least the two that you've done. But the idea of using hit points to climb a mountain was an idea from Reddit. So there's a Rime of the Frost main page on Reddit, and it was a different way of doing it, different slant on it, and the pool and that stuff. That's all mine. But the idea of using hit points as a gambling sacrifice was on Reddit. I thought it was such a good idea.
It was a great mechanic.
Yeah.
Just a nice twist of just doing, because we've done lots of skill challenges, and I thought this was different, and it also really fits with the idea of endurance. So I thought it was a cool idea.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, just for this one, because it was just straight into two trials, I don't have a huge amount of questions. We found out obviously that something that I don't remember being mentioned in the story before was the three gods, the god of the ocean, the hunt, and storms. Is that Talus,
Yeah.
Malar, and Umberly?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Right. They haven't mentioned anywhere before to us, have they?
No,
We
this
didn't know
is-
that was the way.
No, this is new. No, so this is sort of hinting at why Oriel's to cast the Frost Maiden under her spell, like what her motivations are. And hopefully we
So-
can clear a bit of that up next week.
Valerian posted like names for them, and he put in Umberly the Bitch Queen. And out of curiosity, I googled Umberly, and one of her nicknames is actually Umberly the Bitch Queen, which is amazing.
Oh, I thought he just didn't like her because she was a chick god.
No, on the actual like Faerun wiki, she's called Umberly the Bitch Queen, which is
Oh.
hilarious.
I mean, I respect how awful you have to be to get that.
To get that
title.
name exactly, what do you
Particularly
do?
in
Maybe she
Torah
just gave
as
it to
well.
herself. Maybe she's like, fuck
Yeah.
it. I know who I am.
I'm the Bitch Queen.
I'm the bad bitch queen. Yeah.
It's just
I'm gonna
really,
do it
really
before
sassy.
someone else does.
Oh, can we just make Malar and Talus her like super camp god friends? Or like, oh, she's the bad bitch. Like, there's. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, hilarious.
But the campaign doesn't actually go into a great deal of detail of why she's doing it. And so I thought it'd be more interesting to create something that does link in with some Forgotten Realms lore and things to give a motivation, because I just think if you're going to have Oriel as your main character, and that's the slant that we've taken with this campaign, then we need to give some history and some motivation behind it. I think in a lot of campaigns, she's almost the setting. So her rhyme she's not like Strahd, where at the end of the campaign, you kill Strahd. This isn't really set up like that, or at least it doesn't have to be. She can literally just be the setting, and then you do stuff within it. So
Okay.
it's not 100% fleshed out.
I'm going to ask a question that reveals the small behind the curtain for us. So in the break, we were talking about the trials and just kind of starting order, stuff you do to make stuff move faster, like marching order, different things. And we are like, yeah, but like, we'll figure out the trial, it'll be fine. And then Joe mentioned, yeah, I'm sure you will. I can't imagine you not figuring out the preservation trial. And I started thinking, man, how complex is this trial? It was very on the nose, Joe. You were not much faith in us when you thought maybe they won't get through this preservation trial. Like,
So-
how did you think we were going to get confused?
So when the mother was speaking and I said preserve, I was like, I shouldn't have said that. That was really on the nose. Like I literally, as it came out of my mouth, I was like, that didn't need to be said.
Well, the minute you said baby crying, I was like, oh, well, this is obvious what we're meant to do now. As well, to be fair.
Do you know what? I didn't even think like it wasn't until I kind of that next term and I was like, I'm gonna go looking for the child. That was like, oh wait a minute, maybe the whole point is saving the kid. But at the very beginning, when Joe was like, there's a child crying, the only thing I could think of is like Kestra is a mother, she has 2 sons, a child is crying, she's bolting. I was like, I'm gonna get myself in so much trouble, I'm gonna make something terrible happen, but it's fine because there's a child crying.
Eyes on the prize.
It worked out anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked out really well.
We're also like there was just some
Couldn't have
beautiful
been
lines
cooler.
from Joe in this episode. So one of the things I liked a lot.
Oh,
Gann?
That was good timing.
yeah. One of the things I
That
liked
was
a
really
lot.
good timing.
What did he like? What did he like?
Am I back? Am I back?
You're back.
There
You're
we
back.
go.
Okay. I was saying, so Joe just had some great lines because I don't write down funny lines. All I got was Joe ones this time when he said the name of my new band, which is going to be "You Moved Softer Than Ghosts," which was very very poetic. I was like, oh man. And then he's like, so we had just got through past the ice giant, the sleeping ice giant, And the next thing that Joe was doing, he was describing the castle, and he said it was once home to the ice giants. I was like, there's one. He's like right there, the once home of the ice giants.
Yeah, it's still home of an ice giant.
The bank's going to be here next week. He might as well already be gone.
Yeah. It's like lodging now. It's already.
He's squatting. He's squatting.
Yeah, the big skull cast is being repossessed. You're out.
I quite enjoyed Graham at the beginning. Just like when we thought there was a giant cat lurking around, I was just, you're a bounty hunter, being like,
Put the bounty on the cats.
I take payment, and then just Graham just turning out his pockets.
Didn't actually think that Niall would use his cat form because I knew he only had one left, and so you basically just bypassed a lot of the castle because you could follow a trail through rather than having to kind of explore it room by room. So I thought that was quite a cool thing.
God, we wouldn't have even done the first trial if we were going through it room by room. You know us, Joe.
Well, no, exactly.
We would have been fighting a giant horn.
But it would have been a different way of going through it. Because I quite like I said like one thing, but when it was obvious there was a trail and you could do it stealth. I was like, well, actually, this is a better thing. Like this story now, what you did is a different story. So let's do that. I don't think it would have necessarily taken longer. It would just been a different thing.
I do have to say, in the setting, I'm assuming they're in the book, but is it the Reghed tribe or what are they called?
Reghed.
Reghed. They seem like pretty cool, just tribe and lore. Like that instrument you described and stuff is just, they just seem like a pretty cool piece of lore.
So there's loads. So the campaign is split up into loads of bits, and they have this optional content which we haven't explored very much. And there's loads of stuff around the Reghed barbarians, and a lot of it is very much there for the DM to flesh out, and it doesn't fit the way we've structured the campaign in these like one-shot stories. It's the same with the Goliaths up in the mountains. There's loads of cool stuff where there's like 2 warring tribes, and you can make friends with one of them. You can choose which one you befriend, and you get like a pet griffin.
Why can't you be friends with both of them and stop them warring?
Well, you could as well. You could stop them warring, but it's the whole thing.
I can see Owen inside being like, "Fuck you, Niall."
I don't know where. No, I don't buy that. I don't know why Xalfiz just like we can make friends with him. That seems like ice giants aren't all monsters, are they?
I really do like the idea of like all these Goliaths referring to Gann as tiny. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. Who is this tiny man? I'm 8 foot tall.
You've only met one Goliath, right? Oh, because you've met the ones that you played. And then obviously Lindy played a Goliath paladin.
Yeah.
Who was taller than him as well, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was. Yeah.
Your gnomish giant is no match for us. No.
Should we do the giveaway?
I think that's all I have. I was just about to segue in to the giveaway. So if you do want to enter our giveaway, guys, it's I love DIR for Does It Roll. All one word, capital letters. We have 3 whole entrants, one of which is Shalista, who won last week. So we'll give a second for anyone who wants to enter, and then we'll roll it. Oh my god, my Curse of Strahd group is actively making friends with everyone in their campaign, and they're now actively promoting Toymaker or Blinksky to other towns. Let's see how that goes.
I think I made Blinksky way more sinister than other groups.
All right, okay, fair enough. Our winner is Kokor Hekas. So Kokor, you're running it. A code for the Rime of the Frost Maiden campaign on D&D Beyond. If you have a copy already, that code can be used as a gift or whatever, but it'll give someone access to Rime on their D&D Beyond account. Congratulations.
Amazing.
If you send me a message to How We Roll Owen, I'll type in chat so you can see. We'll get that code over to you as soon as possible.
And I guess next week we will be fighting the way through the next 2 trials, and we'll see if they can exit the island, and I guess if they're successful, break open the Reghed Glacier. We'll find out how they get on. So we have 3 more. I think we're aiming for 3 more left. So the campaign will be finished in 3 more sessions. That's what we're going for.
You can look forward to Aram's new venture, which looks sick.
Absolutely spectacular. Yeah, absolutely spectacular.
So we've been Does It Roll, guys. I can do a sign out now. I've thought about this, Joe. A group sign out. Does that make you happy rather than going around the table again? We've been Does It Roll, guys.
I was really tired last week. I wanted to go to bed. I didn't want to take another 5-minute sign out.
And yeah, I won't call your stuff crap this week either, Virginia. Oh, Lord, it was the worst. Anyway, we've been Does It Roll, guys. We're back again next week at 8 p.m. See you there. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye.
Personal log. Emergency medical hologram 4061, Jupiter Station. I have been interfaced with the Danube-class runabout to Eoghan as proctor to 4 young Starfleet cadets embarking on their final practical exam. They are tasked with piloting their ship to Tartarus Prime, a supermassive gas giant near the Romulan border. Despite Starfleet's eagerness to recruit more officers, the 4 I have been tasked seemed as capable as any, and their skills well suited for our mission at hand. These are troubling times of transition for the Federation. It has been a decade since the scientist Serova opened a subspace rift by overloading her ship's warp core engine to breach, demonstrating that conventional warp cores did in fact cause severe damage to the fabric of space-time. Most warp-capable species reacted promptly, limiting travel to Warp 5. Starfleet makes exceptions for emergencies, of course, but any speed above the limit that is not in response to an imminent threat must be approved by Central Command. Once the retrofit of the Eoghan is complete, we will disembark from Jupiter Station for a 2-month journey to Tartarus Prime. Upon arrival, we are to rendezvous with Dr. Hartola, an Orion geologist. She has been investigating interactions between the natural dilithium deposits on a moon orbiting the gas giant and the powerful waves of electromagnetic energy that form on its northern pole. Dr. Hartola has requested a Starfleet vessel to take detailed readings of these energy waves and how they affect the lithium samples we will lower into the gas giant's atmosphere. Later, we will be joined by the Cerritos, a California-class starship that specializes in engineering projects. Once safely docked, ship and crew will be transported to our final destination, the Scientific Research Station, Regula 1. Starfleet only recently declassified the existence of the Genesis planet after several attempts to replicate the mechanisms of its birth produced nothing. The Genesis device worked exactly once, and those results have never been replicated in any form.